Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Good evening and welcome to Spaced Out Radio. Tonight, my name is Dave Scott, and thank you so much for tuning us in as we're getting our Zen and Chi on tonight. A little bit of consciousness sprinkled with some spirituality, maybe some out-of-body experiences, and definitely a little bit of aliens for dessert. Maya Rosso is our guest tonight. Dirty Fylth is here with the cartoons, except for some reason his screen is all blurry, so we're going to have to try and figure it out on the fly. And all of you are here as well. Let's say hello to all of you, shall we? Let's. Starting off with Ann B in the gold medal position, Race Fan taking home a silver, Penny Van with a nice bronze medal. Hello, Mama Susan, Raymond L, and Commonwealth Andrew. Luscious Jules, D. Cohen. Good to have you both here. Hi, Kevin. And Henry E. White Jr. And, of course, Human Carl is here, not to be misconstrued with the alien Carl. But Human Carl's a great veteran of the United States Air Force. We love you, Human Carl. Absolutely love you. All right, we got Jen A. and Mr. Cowley. Welcome back to the show. Oh, Mr. Cowley loves his spaced out radio. There we go. Holly, how you doing, man? Holly will be signing autographs after the show. Line up to the left of the studio, if you don't mind. To the left of the studio. Jessica. Monica, how are you? Hey, look who it is. It's Pixie Lara. Pixie Lara will be signing autographs after the show as well. Line up to the right of the studio, if you don't mind. To the right of the studio. Kathy Evans, how are you? Yum Yum Devil, and who else is here? Les Paul Holland, strum a little ditty for us, if you don't mind. Doug Shelby is here. The Doug Shelby has arrived, which means we can officially start this show. The Demon, how you doing? Just another guy named Harry. Obi Flett, Samantha Hazelwood Gray, the Samantha Hazelwood Gray. And Edna, how are you? And Ozzy, oi oi to you. Philip Bacca, Dark Protocol, good to see you both. Lars Janssen, he'll be wearing number 29 tonight as he starts on left defense out of Stockholm, Sweden. All right, Matt Geek, good to see you. W. Decker, thank you so much for kicking off the Super Chat tonight. Super Chat is a wonderful way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis. Excuse me. All right, Johnny Yuma. Good to see you back. Carlito, good to see you back. Robert Lamoth, and my nose is stuffy all of a sudden. Hold on. Let's get these sinuses in order. All right, there we go. Keyshawn, how you doing, man? And River Dogma, thank you for coming on in. Richard Elmore and Aunt Edna, I know I said your name, but I'll say it again. JSCO, Dog, how you doing in Australia tonight? And Laura Lobbs, hey, Carlito, thank you so much for that great super chat. Very much appreciate it, my man. And let me just write that down. And moving forward, we got Guy Calgary, Von Patrick, the Alberta connection right there. Nick Adkins, good to see you. Gorgeous Amy WC. Hey, Yumi Doll, how are you? Dino Bravo, Fan, Cliff Sy, Mark Sanchez, the toothbrush is here. And Mike, yes, Mike has arrived. All right, continuing on. Dark Robot, welcome to SOR chat. And Tim Mothman, your goatee is beautiful. Hi, Vanessa. Nina Williams, nice to see you both. And Penny Van once again. And yeah, there we are. We're caught up. Hold on. We got to get Bill WD-40 into the other chat room. He's going to pop up right here any second. That way, he can lube us up for tonight's show. Because you always want to be lubed up for a good radio program. You got to go in smooth. You know what I'm saying? Smooth. All right, Deb from SAC, thank you so much for that lovely super chat. Hope you're having a wonderful evening, my dear. Hello, Millennium, my man. Roy Boy, Paramarv, Pat Toohey, Skip to Malou. Nice to see you all. We got like 10 seconds. What should we do? What should we do with all this time? See, there's Bill WD-40. I got the idea. Horns up. Let's rock. From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on Odyssey Radio, TalkStream Live, and KPNL. All of our archives are free. Join us at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. You can follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on TikTok at Spaced Out Radio. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Tonight's show is brought to you by CHIVE Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting CHIVE Charities today. You can find them on our website. We got a great show of some serious woo tonight. We're getting into consciousness, spirituality, a little bit of aliens as well. Our guest tonight, Maya Rosso. She will join us momentarily. Then in hour number 3, Shane Michael Crisp will have the Cryptid Report. Steve Stockton has a great story for us. It's Dave 101 night, and we'll have the strange news of the week as well. Let's get to this. Maya Rosso is honored to be a guide of the people. She calls herself a soul survivor, one who honors love, respect for everyone's journey and the path that they are on. Yes, if you heard the call, she's answered it as well, and they will meet somewhere in the expanse of the universe. Yes, time to awaken the souls, she says, for all her sleeping beauties. Remain calm. Your sovereignty and personal power are about to come out, and wherever it takes us, that's where we're heading. Maya Rosso, welcome to Spaced Out Radio tonight. It is so good to have you on here. How you doing?
Blessings and infinite love. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. It's an honor to be here. Super excited.
Me too. Me too. Have you always been on a spiritual journey, or is this something that you learned as you were growing up?
It's funny you say that. I was always trying to figure out how it started, but the only thing I can really say is I started really young. My earliest memories are at 6 months. I saw my first portal open at 3. That was like the end of this reality for me. And then from that point on, it was just confusion. So I had different points in my life where I was activated. My journey is a spiritual journey. And I feel like I was always on it as a young child. I don't know. I can make it brief, but I think it really started from as a kid.
So, as a child, I mean, growing up, I believe in Puerto Rico is where you were born and raised.
My family's from Puerto Rico. I was born in Los Angeles, actually.
Okay, so you go coast to coast, but the Puerto Rican heritage is very spiritual. It's very God fearing. It's very spiritual, and source driven. I mean, how did that open up your eyes with your family and their own beliefs? Did that come into play?
Well, yes, my family was Catholic. I was born into a Catholic family, so it was um it it was very dark. It was just very, it was Catholicism. I don't know. And so when I saw my first portal open, I had an experience where I was in the bathroom brushing my hair, not realizing about the looking glass technology, knowing that mirrors are portals. I didn't know all this then, but I was looking in a mirror, and the next thing I know, I blinked my eyes. I saw this gigantic spider. I blinked my eyes again, and the whole room turned red, like I was looking through red glasses. I was screaming. My mom called the priest because we were Catholic. He came in with the holy water, couldn't get me to stop screaming, told my mom I was possessed. So my whole life, they told me I was possessed by demons. And that's how it really started for me. And then it wasn't until when I was 16, where I had I call it my near-death experience. I had 3 episodes where I was trying to exit this world. And my first one was at 12. My next one was at 15, where I was in a coma for 3 days. And when I woke up, I was really upset. And I didn't know what happened. There was no blackness. There was no message with God. There was nothing. And so I was like, well, now this ain't right. And so I had no idea that was actually my first UFO adjustment, that I call it. It was my UFO abduction. I had no idea until later in life when I did my past life regression, where I found out what happened when I tried to take myself out and they wouldn't let me. They brought me back here, adjusted my frequency, and sent me back. And then I started my spiritual journey, where at 16, I ended up being a teen mom. And then I just started manifesting things in my life, and I just went on the spiritual journey. I started super Christian, changed my religion, and just started looking for Jesus. And I had this episode happen at church where I was praying. This lady came up to me. She answered all my wishes that I just prayed for. And it was the beginning of the next phase, which was believing that somebody does care about me. Because
Well,
I was like, what's going
no,
on?
that's an amazing story so far. I mean, for you, the way you changed your entire life because of a portal and the experiences that you started to have, at what point did you start studying this and taking this type of spiritual lifestyle to its fullest?
It had to have been right around 2004, I think. I had an epiphany. Called my mom in the middle of the night, 3 in the morning, and I apologized to her for being such a horrible teenager. And I forgave her for everything. I forgave my dad, and I released something that was in me that I didn't know. So that was my beginning of inner child healing, shadow work. And I just felt like, you know, I just felt like I knew. Well, I ain't gonna say what helped, but I just had an epiphany, right? And so I had a dream that night, and in my dream, I was lucid dreaming, but it was so clear. I went back into my high school. I talked to my teachers. They were like, "What are you doing here?" I said, "I don't know." And then I just started talking to them. When I woke up, I knew what I had to do, and I said, "I have to go back to California and go to school for fashion." I had no idea what was happening. So I told myself, do I stop my life right now and leave my family? I was married, had 4 children. I said, do I just stop everything, take a break, and do this? And I did. And I told them I'll be back in 7 months. I don't know why I said that. I went. Everything turned out exactly miraculously the way it was supposed to. It's a long story. But let's just say that I ended up, everything happened the way it was supposed to happen. And I actually, fasted for 5 months. during this process. So I was like a nun, didn't do anything. I read my Bible 16 hours a day, and I was just praying, and for answers. And then I got angry and started yelling at the universe, saying, all right, I need proof now. Now I need proof. Okay. What's next? Now I need proof, because I started reading, ask and you shall receive. So I started asking and demanding. And that's when everything just started like coming on circuit. Everything just started. They messed with me. They're like, oh, you're ready? Okay. Turn on all the circuits then. We're not going to give it to her slowly. And it started with voices, visions, dreams. I was walking down the street and blinked my eyes and I saw into the future. And a week later it happened and I couldn't prevent it. My phone jumped out of my arm into a river and I seen it and I was like freaking out. That's another long story. I'll have to tell you that another time. But anyways, I had all these different episodes. I had dreams where it was like astral projecting. I caught guys cheating on me in my dreams. And like, it was crazy. I had voices, channeling, and I didn't know what was going on with me. And I came across these two women. They were sisters. They were Irish, they were Celtic, shaman, Native American witches. And I went to them and I had psychic surgery. They talked to me about fractals, putting my trauma back together. And they taught me about psychic protection. And that was when the next activation really kicked off. Psychic protection.
It seems like you have had quite the gamut of experiences and a number of paths that you have traveled on. How did you know how to trust these paths and just take them?
Well, see, that's why I had to do this spiritual journey, because I was manifesting good and bad in my life, and I had discernment in my mind. Like I knew when somebody was lying to me, but there was still that part of me where I was like, well, they seem good, or they're just a little bad. I didn't understand that. And then I had this 5-month spiritual journey where I was praying for heart discernment, and I got it. And when I got it, I was like, whoa. And after 3 seconds, I can tell when somebody was telling me the truth or lying to me. But I forgot your question.
Well, when did you find the discernment that this was something for you? This was a path you had to follow.
When I was married, I had manifested my first husband, and it was just terrible. May his soul rest in peace. It was just bad. And I was like, well, what am I supposed to do now? Do I walk away from what I manifested, or what do I do? And I had this dream, and I said, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to try it. And I remember like so scared, thinking, I'm walking out of this 3D life. I think I watched The Matrix too many times. I said, I'm walking out of this world and I want to go into a different perspective. And then I did. I just switched my perspective a little bit. And then later I came across The Power of Now. And then I found Dolores Cannon. And that's when everything just really changed. So it was the heart discernment, the fasting that did it for me, because I just had to know. I needed to know, because I knew that I was psychic and I knew that I can see things and I knew I could see into the future, but I needed more clarity. I needed to know for sure. Like, how do you be that psychic that knows? Like, who teaches you this? So that's where I was. I was like searching for answers. Like, who am I?
Did you
Then I
feel
watched X-Men and I said, I want to be one of them.
Did you feel all alone going through that process in trying to find out who you were?
I'm still alone. I'm still all alone. Everyone in my family thinks I'm bat crazy,
Oh, welcome to the Woo Club. You got family here now.
Yay. Well, that's why I'm here.
Well, I mean, the reason why I asked you that is all of us have our own journey that we have gone on. And for many who listen to this show, they have found their own path that they're trying to figure out answers to as well. I opened up at 38 years old. And that was an experience where I had I had seen the angel of death in my mother's eyes. And being a former journalist at that time, well, I'm still a journalist because I always will be. But, being a journalist, it brought in about 1,000,002 questions into my eyes and my mind that to this day I still haven't got answered. I don't think I will ever get that answer. But the one thing that I do recall is when I started was, everything I had experienced was similar, but never the same as everybody else. And that frustrated the daylights out of me because I wanted something that I could correlate with another person just so I would know that I wasn't alone in the experience. But that never happened for me. For you, has it been the same lonely journey in trying to find that information that you need that is going to make you feel better about this path that you have been on since you were 3 years old?
You know, I remember my mom telling me that my uncle was very psychic and that he told his mother when, where, how, what, everything, how she was going to die. And I remember her telling me this. I remember her telling me that when it happened, everybody turned on him. Now, when I ask her about that, she says that never happened. Mandela effect, right? I'm like, Mom, you told me that my whole life. Now you're telling me that never happened? Whatever. I can't even talk to her anymore. But for me, um, a lot of things that I say tends to happen. So I always say, I told you so. A lot of this stuff, I just felt it in my soul and predicted it. And trying to explain, I have I have 4 adult children and 1 baby. And so them watching me go through this experience, they thought I was crazy. They still think I'm crazy. It's been difficult trying to explain to people what I do, Um, yeah, I don't know if I answered your question.
Well, how do
Bear
your
with me. It's after midnight for me. I'm coming
how,
together. I'm coming together.
how, how do your children feel about it?
They tell me not to talk about it. They want to silence me. They think I'm
What?
crazy. But you know what? They're all waking up. And now they're all starting to look at me like, Mom, you told me this. I said, yeah, who's the crazy one now? So I just say, I was told that not to rush anybody. My spirit guides told me, the angels say, don't force anybody. You cannot do that. They have to come in at their own time. They have to go through certain portals. They have to grow. You cannot force anybody. All you can do is plant the seeds and water it with love. Let it be. That's all you can do. You can't judge anybody for whatever journey they're on, my family included.
But since it shaped your life, if you didn't have this, what would you have done?
I would have been jumping off of the Golden Gate Bridge. I did not want to be here. This world was horrible for me. I was like, I'm telling you, I was 11 years old when I had my first episode. And my mom didn't care. They didn't care. Nobody cared about me. I was like, nobody cares about me. So it was hard. So now I care about myself and I don't care what anybody thinks. They can care about me or not. I don't care.
But that's a
So,
good thing, is you
yeah.
found yourself throughout the mist.
And I also found out that not everybody in your family is your galactic soul family. And a lot of people that we reincarnate with in families, that we're just clearing karma. There's so many different reasons why we are put together with people. It's not always what we think. And that's what I've learned on my journey. So I'm healing my family, healing ancestral lines. There's a lot of my family members that were on drugs. My brother was on crystal meth for 20 years. I did this past life regression with Alba Weinman, and I healed my family. And after a year, all the family members that were on drugs got clean. And knock on wood, they're still clean.
Wow, that's amazing. That's
It's
absolutely amazing.
the
You know,
spiritual work is amazing. It is.
how do you take care of your own mind, body, and soul then? Because I find spiritual work very heavy, very intense.
Well, as an empath, I can feel people's energy as well. I have to keep myself, I shield. So I'm an Isis priestess, and I also teach psychic protection and development. So I shield every morning when I wake up, 5 a.m. I put my shields up, put my protection bubble around me. I protect my family members. I protect all my electronics, my land, my dog, my cat, my car. Then I can go back. If I wake up a little early, I can go back to sleep. But as long as I wake up and I put my shields on, I'm good. If I don't, it's a horrible day. So I start with putting my shields on. I change my diet. I eat organic. I don't eat processed foods. I don't drink soda. I quit smoking cigarettes. I used to smoke for 20 years. I just try to treat my body better because why not?
Why the hell not? Why the hell not? As
Yeah.
we got about 3 minutes to go before we have to go to break here at the bottom of
Beautiful.
the hour. Maya Rosso is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. How do you, we're going to talk consciousness in the next half hour and the connections that you can make, whether it's to spirit, extraterrestrials, and everything. How did you develop your consciousness for that communication?
Um, Well, like I said, my clairs came online and things started speaking through me and hearing voices. Then I had my past life regression where they were channeling through me. So I was able to use all my senses to connect. So that's what really put me online. And that's what I do. I do the hypnosis regressions, and that's what I'm teaching. And I'm getting ready to start my own school to teach others to do this as well, because through the guided meditation is where the healing through hypnosis, a lot of this stuff happens through that meditative state, the theta brainwave. So, yeah.
So what do you want to accomplish with that? Your schooling and teaching others.
I want to help people save themselves because apparently I was Cleopatra in my past life, and I tried to save everybody, and they said, "Look where that got you. Don't make the same mistake in this life. Teach people to save themselves." And my business that I created, which I don't even know where the name came from, SOSQHT, which means Saving Our Souls Quantum Healing Therapy. So I was like, is that why that name? I don't even know where that name came from. And so I'm here to help people save themselves. I help activate people. I take them into past lives. I show them who they were, take them down ancestral lines, clear ancestral karma, and push them forward so that if they choose to on their spiritual journey, if they're ready, they can step into their power, because this is the time. We're getting activated right now. People are coming online. So I'm hoping to help, because once the disclosure, when the day kicks off, when they uncloak everybody and that whole UFO alien fake invasion happens, then it's going to backfire, and we're all going to go online, and our brains are going to go to 100% capacity. They say we already use 80%. They say we use more than we think we use, they told me. So they said when this happens, it's going to backfire. So they're just waiting like this. Everybody's just waiting, because as soon as they make their move, it's checkmate. And now once they make their move, they can make their move. It's crazy. That's why they won't let the nuclear things go off, because look what happened last time they did it. And then the second moon that they blew up, that's the astral belt from that nuclear war that they had with the galactics. Oh, I got so much to tell you. It's crazy. It's
Oh,
crazy.
I'm getting excited about it. We are going to go full throttle woo here tonight. Just by that one sentence alone, you can tell that the woo meter is going to shatter tonight. And I love it. I love it. That's the way it should be every night on this show. We break the woo meter. Just get ready, people. Hold on tight. You're going to have to put your seatbelts on. All right. Remain seated, please. Terminate Cersei Pablos, por favor. As we get ready to go into the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Our guest, Maya Rosso. And when we come back, the conscious connection. Where does it lead us? Where does it take us? Who can we chat with? Yeah, we're in for a good one tonight. That is for sure. Stay tuned. The second half hour of Spaced Out Radio is coming up. Get your woo meters ready. All right, we are clear. Clear is light.
Beautiful.
How you doing down there, Dirty Fylth? Camera's finally clear.
Is that an ant colony?
No, he's somewhere in the stars tonight.
Oh, okay. Didn't know if he was underground.
Yes, we're definitely among the stars tonight.
Okay.
Will any of the aliens, if you draw any, have Maya's hair?
There will be no aliens tonight that are visible.
Will there be any UFOs that have Maya's hair?
There are no dreadlocked UFOs. Sorry.
Are there any Dirty Filth paintings that will have Maya's great hair?
It's a fairly good chance of that happening.
Perfect. That's all I need.
I'm surrounded by bugs. Sorry, I'm off grid right now, so I'm like surrounded by every bug that can find me.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I'm trying to keep in touch with the chat room here.
Oh, nice.
Well.
Yeah, so I did a show with Typical Skeptic podcast.
Very cool.
Didn't you have him on your show?
I have not. I think Jessica, one of my weekend hosts.
Oh, right. That's what confused me. I said, wait a minute. There's a lot of people here.
We have a lot of people. We like a lot of people.
You have a headquarters in Vermont?
No headquarters in Vermont. I am way across the country from you. Like, you're over here, like where you are. I'm over here.
Yes. You're by Vancouver area?
I am about 5.5 hours northeast of Vancouver.
Okay, I'm near Montreal.
Yes, I've never been to Montreal.
No?
No, I want to. Oh, excuse me. I don't know.
I went there at night after 9/11 happened, so it was New Year's Eve, so I don't remember. It was all dark.
Lots of French people there who
Oui, oui.
like weird hockey teams. Right, Fylth?
Boo Habs, boo.
Boo Habs, boo. Exactly.
Just gonna get a bunch of hate mail now.
Probably.
Actually,
I probably not, because I don't even get hate mail for the amount of insults I throw the Toronto Maple Leafs. I don't get hate mail for the amount I loathe soccer.
Well, hopefully you don't get none tonight either.
You tell me, intuitive woman.
They always come for me. They don't want me talking, but they can't stop me.
What color is that, Dirty Fylth?
that is lunar blue.
Lunar blue. Very
Yes.
nice.
These are the best paints in the entire world.
We got to get them sponsoring the show for your paints.
That's right. Danielle Smith Extra Fine Watercolors.
Mm-hmm. Somebody phone them up. Say we need to get Fylth some free paints.
I'm sure they do it with the name like Daniel. Yeah.
What do you mean Dave can't run? It's a slow jog,
I
but
can
at least
go.
I
Come on.
can run still. Gee whiz, Kevin. Tough.
Is there a cat?
Hmm?
Was that a cat?
Yeah, you heard that?
Of course I heard it.
My cat is very vocal.
Eventually, you're going to see Blob the cat jump up on the painting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Where is Blobbert?
She's outside laying on the pavement. where it's cold.
Mm. All right, guys, 27 seconds. Thank you to W. Decker, Carlito, and Deb ×2 for the amazing super chats tonight. The super chat is Vaughn in there as well. Sorry, Vaughn Patrick as well. Thank you for super chats. It's a great way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis. So thank you so much. Do us a favor, hit thumbs up. Here we go. Second half hour of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Dave Scott. Always appreciate earning your listening ears. I want to remind you that if you missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the newswire, check out our swag. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on TikTok at Spaced Out Radio. We continue on tonight with our good friend Maya Rosso tonight. Consciousness is on tap. Her website, sosqht.com, and she's got a great set of earrings on in some of those photos. She really does. Maya, thank you so much for being here. We're appreciating you.
Thank you for having me. Super excited.
Excellent. Me too. All right. We're going to turn up the woo factor here a little bit here because I'm a big believer in consciousness. I never really used to be until my own experiences started happening and my mind started expanding. For people who haven't tapped into their own consciousness, how do they get there?
That's a really good question because people don't understand. I always tell people your mind is like the microphone to the universe. You think that you're hearing your own thoughts and that's your thoughts, and so these are your feelings, but that's really not the case most of the time. Half the time, those aren't even your thoughts. So I think the best way to find and to start like tapping in is starting with meditation, is sitting, but there's different ways to do this because people are like, oh, I can't sit and, I can't do that. But this is what I did. So I started going for long drives in the middle of nowhere with no music because, the roads hypnotize you already. So I used to go on long drives and just zone out and just let my thoughts come in and out. Or I would go in nature. I'd go for walks in nature, and whatever I was feeling, I wouldn't feel it anymore. I would start to feel better. And then once you feel better, you can get downloads and you can, your guides can talk to you because they can't talk to you if you're not on that high frequency. Then you're dealing with the lower vibrational frequencies guiding you. And so the best way to do that is by shielding yourself twice a day. Dawn and dusk, right before the sun rises, twilight hour, get up before the sun rises, eat the sun, shield yourself with the bubble, and you will start to protect your energy so that way nothing can tap into you. Reptilians, spirits, Greys like to do the holographic cloning, they like to take pictures of you and spy on you. There's so many things that go on. But to protect yourself from this and to keep your consciousness from being hijacked, you have to protect yourself and shield. And how many people talk about that? Not too many. And that's the most crucial part, is protecting yourself. It doesn't matter what you say. It's the intention that you're saying, I'm going to protect myself, whatever you want to say. It doesn't matter, but as long as you're setting that intention to protect yourself, you protect your energy, that's the most important part. You want to claim your sovereignty. I do not consent. Before I knew, I would say when I would get in my car, I would always put my shields up. Get me there and back safely. Keep, protect everybody on the road around me, because you never know, somebody else might get into an accident. It can affect you. I've seen it too close too many times. you know, and I always say, protect all the animals on the road around me and keep me invisible to all cops. And that was my first prayer before I started what I do now, which is just, I have my my crystals, my special crystals. I got my magic wands with my crystals and my dagger, and I set my shields up. I use my crystals and my oils, and I just keep myself shielded. I can feel people's energy, and there's energy vampires out there, and they feed off your compassion. You know, they want you to sit there and talk to them, and they just drain you. There's a show called What They Do in the Shadows on Netflix. That's the best way to explain it. Like, you have to protect your energy and your chakras, your portals. You have to protect yourself because they will get hijacked in a heartbeat. They do all day long if you don't
Hijacked
shield.
how? Hijacked how?
So whenever you lower your frequency, whenever you get scared, you have fear, or you have lower vibrational things, like say you have really bad heartbreak, that your heart just breaks, you know, a lot of teenagers go through that. What Whenever you experience anything that's traumatizing, you're opening, your chakras are like portals. So every time your chakra opens, and it's like the door opens and the light shines, and the lost soul in the dark, oh, there's a way in right there, and they can get right in. So they get into your chakras and they cause all kinds of havoc. And if they're ghosts, like people who lived and died and couldn't cross over, then they get into your body and they cause physical harm, illness, things like that. If it's a dark alien, like a gray that's been here for a long time, they will try to kill you. They'll put tumors in your body and things like that. If it's a reptilian, you know, they play mind tricks on you, and they attach to ships and planets, and they just feed off you night and day. When I do my hypnosis sessions, when I do body scans with people, we go in and we find all kinds of stuff, and we speak to these entities and energies, and you'll be surprised what's in people's bodies that come from like anything, intentions, bad intentions. People with bad intentions could throw stuff to you. It's crazy. But it's real.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about because, you know, in a separate event, personally, you know, my mother passed away a month ago, and
Sorry to hear that.
within a couple of days of that happening and everything, my body seized up to the point where I was literally walking like a 90-year-old man. And I went to my chiropractor because I was getting very like my shoulders were numb, my arms were numb, and you get that weird tingling sensation. And I knew I had to do something. And between that and massage therapy over the last couple of weeks, both my chiropractor and my massage therapist were like, we haven't seen a body this beat up in a long time. Like, I even have a knot in my thumb right there. I've never had a knot in my thumb, but there is a knot in my thumb. That's how beat up it is. And it's true, because if you allow that energy, that negativity, that energy that we all seem to put on the back of our shoulders, this is what creates weakness within ourselves and our own spiritual nature. Correct?
Yeah, most definitely. And you know, if you think about it, it's a lot of it stems from inner child stuff, being a childhood, you know. Think about how many adults can't get over their childhood. They can't. They just, you know, I had a bad family, I had a bad life, and they dwell on it and dwell on it and dwell on it. They never get past it. Like, there's a lot of people that have had bad lives, and you never would know because they're just happy as can be, because they don't let that stuff get to them. But the people that do, they end up with all kinds of stuff, but they can be saved. And you can
Well,
save yourself. Get your crystals and work your crystals on your palm, you know, and do your magic.
that's why I have on my microphone, I have
Oh,
soda light on my microphone,
there you go.
because that way, positivity, man. It's all about the positivity and the love around here. But I want to ask, like, when you are deep into your consciousness, you gain control of that. You can communicate with absolutely anything that is out there, whether it's spirits, ghosts, uh, different dimensions, aliens, cryptids, even animals,
Oh, yeah.
you know, and I've done that where just speaking to an animal and they actually listen to you. I have a cherry tree in the back of my house. It's a Chinese cherry tree they're extremely sour. It tastes disgusting, but the deer love them. And I remember one night after the show, I went outside because it was a beautiful night. I wanted to see the stars, and I see this deer right at my cherry tree, and she goes down on all four legs, because she was reaching up trying to get to the higher branches, and she looks at me and she's got that, okay, do I sprint out of here now? I'm caught. And I just said, hi, how you doing? I said, those cherries are for you. And I said, you just go ahead. I'm just going to watch you enjoy the cherries. And I swear that deer understood what I was saying, because she looked at me, she looked up at the cherries, she looked at me, she looked up at the cherries, and I said, go, they're all there for you. And she went back up like I wasn't even there, and she started eating on the cherries again. And then she came back down with a mouthful, looked at me kind of to say thank you, and then I just walked inside because my job was done. But that communication pattern, when your mind is clear, is so strong. Tell me about that.
It is definitely. I had a telepathic connection happen with my dog in front of my husband, and he was shocked. But in my sessions with people, that's one thing that they're able to do with their consciousness. They're able to communicate with their animals. So I offer animal communication. People have issues with their dogs. Their animals are sick or their animals die, and they want to connect with them. So I let them connect with these animals, and the dogs tell you, we see everything you do. The dogs are like, we see everything. You think we don't see? We're watching you. And they tell you how they feel, and it's a beautiful thing, because a lot of these animals, these companions, are not just what they seem. Sometimes when you see them on spirit, this one dog was like an angel, a gigantic angel dog. And like when people see that their dogs are like different, it blows their mind. They're able to connect with loved ones. I had a lady that won a raffle. I did this thing at my kids' school, a raffle, an auction. I gave away animal communication. I didn't think nobody would do it. I had 5 people fighting over these tickets. This lady did it. Her husband died. She didn't get to say goodbye. Her dog died. I took her back, and she had one dog now. I said, okay, I'm going to take you back into the woods. There's going to be a cabin there. When you open the door, your husband's going to be there, and your dog that died and your dog now will be there. Their spirits will be there waiting to talk to you. And when she walked in and she saw them, she couldn't believe it. And she had a beautiful conversation with them. They went on a walk in the woods. She told her husband, what do you think about me dating your friend? He's like, good for you. So, once they cross over, they're off to bigger and better things. There's more to it than what we're doing right now. So, it's a beautiful thing to know that your animal could possibly be your twin flame. It doesn't have to be a romantic partner. It could be your dog, it could be your child, it could be anybody. I have a friend, her twin flame is her fish. It's a special fish that lives 40 years, and that's her twin flame. I'm like, okay. So, yeah, it's beautiful to be able to know what you're able to accomplish. There's people who don't get to see they're adopted. They don't know who their family is. They can go and see. There's people who have who've lost children, and they are able to connect. In my session, I had two abortions, and I needed to know if my kids forgave me, and I knew they were boys. And in my hypnosis session, which is on YouTube on Alba Wyman, you can see it, my boys came through and told me it was okay. Like, we're always with you. It's okay. It's fine. Like, it's already pre-written. It's fine. So it's important for people to do the spiritual journey, I feel like, because we go through so much and there's so much we still don't know. You know, what you can do with meditation. I take people on time traveling journeys. I don't know if you've seen my YouTube page, but I'm able to take people on spaceships. We create spaceships. We visit aliens, planets, like your consciousness and what you can do. I have a friend who met his dad, who was Anunnaki, and another dad who was in Atlantis, and then a grandmother from a parallel world where Venus is the sun, and they're blue with elf ears. So I love it. I love teaching people, like, go within, do these meditations, and come see me so I can take you on a journey and help heal you. So
Well,
yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you. I need some of that woo. I need some of that big time woo. What are we doing here to take people on these alien type journeys to meet up with craft and to meet up with extraterrestrials? Take me through this, because you've got my 1,000,000,000% attention right now. Give me that woo. Give it to me.
So as an Isis priestess, as a Reiki master, what I like to do is I teach you alchemy. So I teach you the basics of alchemy. We start with water, and then we set our intentions, and then I do some healing, and I flush the body with lots of love light, so that way your body is bright and anything that's dark just moves away for right now, so that way you can become a clear channel. Because if you're not clear, you're not going to be able to make that connection. So I do lots of spiritual energy work first. I do Reiki, I get it activated, and then I do a guided meditation, and it's just a simple, beautiful guided meditation. It's a Dolores Cannon modality. It's a QHHT modality. It's the next level from QHHT. We deal with reptilians. We deal with DNA activations. I can age regress you. I can make you 20 years younger. I can make your dog 20 years younger. If the higher self says, like, I can take people to meet their dragons. I can take you to play with the fairies, to swim with the mermaids. Like, it is so amazing what people are able to do, like what we can do with this. So it depends on where you want to go. I just guide you. We set the stage. I teach you some alchemy. That's where the magic happens. You play with fire. You put it in your body. You sing with the mermaid. The dolphins sing to you. I give you all these things to open your senses. I teach you how to open your senses, and it starts with protection. So I do protection. And then I do alchemy. I get you ready. And then when you go under, you're able to eat things. You're able to drink. You're able to go shopping. You can do whatever you want. So it's tapping into your other spirit, because we're multidimensional beings. We live parallel lives anyways. So anything is possible. It's just what we think here is not possible. When I tell people that I can take you to the dark side of the moon in 20 minutes, they think I'm joking. I'm not joking. I've done it twice.
Okay, you got to tell me about these mermaids. Where are you finding them mermaids?
So I'm glad you asked about that, because I've actually, for the last week, have been putting together my video of all the stories of mermaids that I've come across. So I put something together for you. You should be proud for me for doing this, because I don't usually do this. So what I found out was, I have a client that went back into the organic timeline before the fall, when it was all beautiful, when it was all one land. And she said that there's gold in the water. The water had gold, and it was different. And the crystals would sing to them. They would communicate with the crystals, and that's how they could tell what was going on. And they knew and they sensed that something dark was coming, and they were all ready, and they were nervous, and they knew. And then I found out through another hypnosis session that I was a mermaid in Atlantis, and I'm from the Pleiades, and my name is Misty, and they call me Misty. And I'm a purple crystal, and this is purple, actually, believe it or not. It's a dark purple. And so There's a few things I can't really say because they tell me like you got to be careful because they come looking for you, you know. But let's just say I'm here to help people awaken, and that's my mission. And the mermaids right now are fighting underwater with the Anunnaki, and they're some of the mermaids in Atlantis. They wanted the immunity because they knew that the dark was coming in, but they wanted to save their people. So they did experimenting with Lemurians. Lemurian had the immunity, and so they went to Lemuria. They did experimentations. And so I guess the Greys got a way in through it. And so, you know, they find out everything. And so that's how they were able to get in. And so right now the Greys are shapeshifting into mermaids, and they're trying to open the portal with CERN that's trying to usher the dark energies in, and they're feeding this dark beast. And so I did a session with one of my friends who's an Anunnaki, and she said, we fight them every day. We're sick of it. And I said, well, how do you battle? And they said they have these arrows that shoot lasers. They use like this laser technology. And then there was another one that we did. The Atlantis was the Galactic Federation headquarters. That was the council. They put it there, and Lemuria was the one that gave the call for Atlantis to fall. But Atlantis actually never fell. It was an illusion. And what happened was they cloaked themselves and went in the inner earth. They went underwater, so they got a bubble. There's so many crazy things we found out. We found out that Earth was a cube. There's layers. It was crazy.
Hold on, Earth is not round or semi-round.
It's not.
It's a cube.
Yeah. And I heard another lady say that. I said, oh my God. She said it has grids and there's planes. There's different planes. So the fifth dimension is actually under us. It's in the inner earth. And I've been there twice. At Antarctica, the secret military civilization, the giants that are in Antarctica. I have a friend who's living a parallel life there. We went there. And Mount Shasta, we went to the inner earth. At Octurians were down there. And we also found out that beyond the ice wall, right between, there's reptilians civilization between. Oh, yeah, we found out a lot. But the mermaids, there's 3 types of mermaids, and they're not Syrians. The sirens are different. The sirens help the mermaids. And so when they lure the people in, they help take them out. But the mermaids could be deadly, they said. But they're shapeshifters. There's 3. There's ones that are at the bottom of the ocean. They look like dinosaurs. They choose to be that way. They look like salamander people. Then there's the ones in the middle that are kind of both. They're a little fishy, but they look mermaidy. And then mermaidy, I just made that up. And then there's the shapeshifters that stay on the surface and they can come on land. And they remember the movie Splash, where she walked on land and then jumped in the water, turned into a fish. Well, they have 2 legs. And then so the lady that went to the organic timeline, she was a mermaid, but she had 2 legs. So far, I've met like 3 mermaids that had two legs, and they can put their legs together to make one, and they can separate it. That was new to me. But yeah, that was a mouthful.
Have you ever seen one of these?
Not in my eyes, real life, but I've seen videos, and they say some of those are real. So I don't know. But I look around, I look to see which one. They have fangs, they have big eyes, and they have no noses like a fish, and they have long nails, they have webbed fingers, they have fins, and they're all covered in scales.
Wonderful.
And they're all different colors, like betta fish. You know, the betta fish have all the rainbow colors. There's all kinds of colors, all kinds. I'm a purple mermaid, by the way. And I have a twin. I have a twin that's blue, peacock blue. So
very nice. On that note, Maya, I'm going to get you to hold on right there because we are going to go to break here at the top of the hour. 1 hour down, 1 hour to go. Maya Rosso, we have officially hit peak woo, people. This is what we strive for each and every night. And I am loving Maya. We're going to learn her stories about ET contact. Yeah, where's this going? I have no idea. We're officially off the rails. Peak woo has been set. We've shattered it. And I love it. Here comes hour number 2 right after this. All right, quickly here. Pepe H, how you doing? And let's see. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Sandra. The Body Electric Supplement. How are you? Welcome to our chat room. And IXOXIXOIOX. Hi again. I don't know how to pronounce that. Way too Canadian for that. All right, Dirty Fylth, we're going to move you into the hot seat here. Travis Willier Moostus says, I'm ready to fly off the peak of woo. Yes.
Travis lives the woo every day.
Travis is the king of the woo, and I love him. Howard S., how are you? Good to see you. And I'm going to step away, Maya, for a couple seconds, but you get to enjoy Dirty Fylth for a little bit here. It is beautiful cartoonage, and I'll be right back.
Nice.
Cartoonage.
So, would you like to tell the story?
What kind of story?
What's the story there?
Oh, we have sprogs in space. In orbit, rather, because they're orbiting Earth.
Are you making a children's book?
Thanks, lover. No,
Because if
I'm
not,
making
you
a children's
should.
book.
That would be awesome. It's a fantasy of mine.
Well, if you can write a book, I could probably draw the pictures for it.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I love that. You should. Kids need good stuff. You've seen some of the books that got out these days? They could use some good stuff.
I don't know. I read a couple fantasy series and then it just kind of ruined books for me. I just can't read anything else. It just like set the bar so high. Even when I read stuff, it's just casual. I'm like, no, can't read this.
Right. I like mysteries.
Mysteries are pretty good.
Is that a space cat?
There's 2 space cats. That's the sprogs. That's what Mrs. Fylth calls the cats. When they're all together, she calls them sprogs.
That's cute.
So this is the gargoyle, and that's the gremlin.
Oh.
They're
I heard gargoyles were little puppies with wings.
Do you know there's a difference between the gargoyle and a grotesque?
Grotesque? What's that?
One has a function and one usually is a water spout, which is the gargoyle. And the grotesque is just a creature on the side of a building.
Oh.
So what kind of cat do you got?
I have a black cat. I don't know what kind it is. She's really cute.
Is it short or long-haired?
Huh?
Is it short or long-haired?
Short, thank goodness, because I couldn't handle the long hair.
Oh, my whiskey breath is long hair. She's an old barn cat.
Oh, I love barn cats.
I have 4 cats total. They're just terrors of the neighborhood.
Right? Oh my goodness. I had 4 cats once, and next thing you know, the whole mountain was flooding with kittens and cats everywhere. People were driving by and swooping cats up in their car. They're beautiful too. Just absolutely gorgeous cats. But my first cat was a Siamese cat.
Ooh.
He had this huge head. His head was so big. I let him be outside. And then my daughter
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say my daughter had a coon cat, beautiful cat, and it got killed. And so she turned around and bought a horse.
That's a pretty big jump.
Yeah.
But what kind of horse? A Clydesdale?
I don't know. It's a really pretty one. It's black and white. It's got little spots. It's a perfect horse. It's like the perfect horse you see, like the kids' toys. I don't even know what it's called. It was a rescue. She bought it for $1.
That's a pretty good deal. Our cats are rescued as well. They're just farm cats that needed a home. Otherwise, they just would have been left outside and I don't know, eaten by a Sasquatch or something.
Taken in by a Sasquatch.
Maybe.
And they just have a giant Sasquatch cat. I wonder if Sasquatches own pets.
Yeah, I wonder if they do.
All right, guys, hold on 1 second here. Hello, Cat the Kit. Hi, Juliana. Hello to Bad Daddy. Welcome. And who else is snuck in here that we're just seeing? Let's see. I think. Oh, Rob G, how you doing, buddy? All right, we are caught up. Who wants more woo, man? Who wants more woo? Who needs more? Let's see if we can push this to mega woo tonight. All right. Thank you tonight to Lala, W. Decker, Carlito, Deb ×2, Vaughn, and Sandra for the wonderful super chats. Very much appreciate earning your love and support. If you haven't already, give us a thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs sideways. Leave a comment after the show. It helps with the algorithms. If you're new here, welcome. And don't forget to hit subscribe and ring the bell. We are here 7 days a week. Here we go.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Hour number 2 of Wooed Out Radio is underway tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on Odyssey Radio, TalkStream Live, and KPNL. All of our archives are free. Join us at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Yantra. Yantra is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on TikTok at Spaced Out Radio. It is that time where we bring back our guest. Maya Rosso is our guest. Her website, sosqht.com. She is a metaphysician. Yeah, let's chat with her about contacting aliens. Maya, welcome back to the show.
Hello, hello.
I'm so happy you're here tonight. So happy. You have no idea how much I love a good woo night, and this is what we have going on right now. You say you can connect with any type of alien, cryptid type of spirit that is out there. You know, how many different spirits have you locked into, or aliens have you chatted with?
So, I've talked to the Arcturians in the inner earth in Mount Shasta. That was my first encounter. And then I spoke with a lost soul. It was my first time finding a lost soul, a woman who had died. And I was able to get her name, her first and last name, her date of birth, her address. Like, I could look her up. She gave me all her information. She died in like 1994. I've encountered reptilians, Draconians, Sarconians. Sarconians are the cousins to Draconians. They're very ancient. They're from Atlantis times. I've talked to a lot. I've spoke with, fairies, a fairy queen that I found out that I actually studied under in Atlantis, crystal magic. I've been to a dragon planet where they were very upset with us because we were killing them, because the dragons were the first of creation. And so very important that everybody connects with their dragon. I've also connected with a nasty gray that I had to battle with love for 4 hours, get him to positive polarize, and then have him leave the girl's body, which took 2 hours. And she was so psychic that she could give me the percentage until he was completely gone. I talked with the archangels. I've talked with Mother Gaia. I've talked with Ganesh, Lord Ganesh. He's worked with me twice. Jesus, of course, it's my beloved twin flame. My husband looks like looks like Jesus. Look, he looks like Jesus, and he's a Jew. I'm like, dude, come on, you look like my Jesus. You're my Jesus. I've spoken with Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary, lots of different aliens from different places. I spoke with Ephesus. So I started a time traveling school called Cosmic Crusaders recently. And we started going back anywhere we want. And we went to the Great Flood of we went to 1802 when the flood happened. It was like 1810. We went back to the Tartarian time, and we got to meet Queen Khalifa. We went to her house, hung out in her bedroom. I went to ancient Greece and spoke with Ephesus. He was a librarian. He was the keeper of knowledge. There's a city named after him. I've had a client, Rob, his past life, Typical Skeptic podcast. I did 2 sessions with him. He was Imhotep, the architect from Egypt. He was also one of the Greys. Remember the Eben story where the Greys crashed and they were taken? His story is from the Greys' point of view. So that crash that happened, that's part of his story. So that was interesting. I've spoke to Anunnaki. I've spoke to who else? I spoke to quite a few people. We can do anything just about. Yeah.
When you are in communication with these different species that are out there, what are they saying to you? What is the message that they have?
Well, we met this 4-armed pink Syrian guy. He was like 9 feet tall. He said, stop messing with the cloning. That was his message. We went into the future, into 2030, or was it? No, it was a different future. It was 3111. And they said, stop recycling plastic. Enough already. Recycle it once and leave it alone. Stop recycling. They said, just stop. They stopped eating dairy. It's like kryptonite to humans. Not everybody needs to be a vegetarian. It depends on your blood type. Some people have to eat meat. They say, to respect everybody's journey because we're all playing a part. Let go of fear, open your hearts, things like that. So there's 3 services. There's to ascension. There's service to self, which starts with your shadow work, doing your work on yourself, going within, clearing up all that stuff. Then there's service to others, which is helping other people, right? Once you've accomplished that, then there's service to truth, which is the next level, which is speaking out about it and sharing your experiences so other people can heal, because that's how they heal, is by listening. It helps other people heal. And they said in the future, it doesn't matter. Whatever we do now, it ripples into the future. So send love into the future, because love is so powerful that it helps, and everybody needs it. And that's how we'll eradicate the darkness, is by shining more light, more love. And that's how we're gonna have to win, is by opening our hearts, letting anger go, things like that.
Now, when you say darkness, what kind of darkness are we talking about out there?
We're talking about the darkness that was created from jealousy, these dark these feelings that we have that are low vibrational, like hate, jealousy, envy, they create a cloud around the earth that creates around, even though it's not really round. Anyways, it's this muck, it's this dark cloud. And so what we see out around us is that it's that darkness that's not organic. It's caused by, it feeds off people's fear. So the more people have fear, it grows like the blob. So think about movies they put out that are scary. Think about people going to the movie theaters and 40 people jumping at once and getting scared and traumatized by something silly that they think is not real, but actually is probably real, because, you know, Hollywood is all about illusions and stuff. So there's a lot going on. Hollywood, you know, the TV, electronics, everything is here to distract us, and everything plays a part. Everything plays a part. We know, right? They can look at us on our phones and follow us, but it's bigger than that. It's energetically. The electricity is not natural, and every time we plug into electricity, it messes up the natural frequency of the earth. And so it's creating an imbalance, and these dark energies, they feed off that, and they get there. It's like these dark let's see, like people who die, who have shame in their heart, they can't ascend, so they get sucked into this. It's the darkness within people's hearts. It's not organic. It's once that's gone and we can live in utopia, the darkness won't be there. So that's why there's the 2/3 world split, right? I can't talk right now. Hang on. My coffee candy. Dolores Cannon talks about the 2/3 world split. And right now it's happening. So you have the third dimension, which we're in. Then you have the fourth dimension that's separating. And then you have the fifth dimension, which is what's happening right now, the organic earth. But since we started in the fifth dimension, we're actually going to the sixth dimension. So when I do hypnosis sessions with people, we go to their parallel lives where they're living in 2030 or 2023 in the fifth dimension. And they have a whole nother house. They have a gigantic house. They're living good. Like their life is different. I also take people into parallel lives where something might not have worked out. So there's all kinds of possibilities, but this darkness feeds off of fear, and it keeps the earth, it keeps it in it's not good. We have to get rid of that. Get rid of the hate from your heart, basically, type thing. Sorry, that makes sense.
Yeah. When you talk about, people being able to connect with themselves in other dimensions, what do you mean by that?
So I'm able to take people into, I can do it a couple ways. I can take you into like your Akashic records. So when they go into this hypnosis state, they see themselves, they can see themselves. And I have them use a spiritual mirror, which I learned from Alba Wyman, and they can look at themselves and they can see what they look like. So they're able to tell you what they look like. And they tell you if they're the same person or if they're different. They can even tell you if their mentality is different. Excuse me. They can tell. So you're able to see yourself. I've gotten clever lately. I actually had fun with one of my couples because I'm doing like couple therapy through hypnosis now. And so I took them to meet their unborn child, but I had their higher selves meet them on a spaceship that was like a resort. So they had lunch with their higher selves. Like, I don't know anyone who's doing that, but I tried it and it worked. And so they had a conversation with themselves, their higher selves at the highest. And then when it was over, I had them merge with their higher self and go into a spaceship. And they were like, whoa, I've never felt like this before. And they could feel the difference. And it's life changing for a lot of people, and for my friends, they're just loving it. They're just like, they love it because now I've helped them see things differently. They're like, Maya, you got to do couples therapy. I'm like, well, be a success so I can tell people. But yeah, I can have you go. I can have you do all kinds of stuff. It's amazing. And it's life changing, and it's empowering. It's empowering because this is you. And you can't lie. There's no lying once you're in that theta brainwave. That's why telepathic. That's why when people get abducted by aliens, they're like, I knew exactly what they were thinking, because there's no lying in telepathy. You can tell when someone's full of it, but at the same time, you know their true intentions. Not like Earth. People like smile in your face and stab you when you turn around.
Okay, so from dimensions to time travel, do you believe that there is the possibility to travel back and forth in time to meet up with your previous self or future self?
Oh yeah, that's what I do. That's what we do. We go back and forth. We get advice from the future self or the past self.
Where do you travel to?
Anywhere. People like I had a girl, she went back to Egypt, wherever they want to go. And sometimes we ask for their highest healing. So sometimes they need to know who they were, if they were somebody important. Like I had this one kid that I did a session for. He was Akhenaten, the Egyptian guy. I don't know if he was a pharaoh, Akhenaten, but I found out he was Anunnaki, and I also found out he was cousin to Inky.
Wow. Have you
Yeah.
seen your future self?
I personally have not. I saw my past self
Okay.
as a
Okay,
bald
stop
white
right there.
English man.
Stop right there. Okay, you saw your past self in your previous life. Did you have a conversation? How did you see yourself? Was it through meditation? Or did you actually travel there?
So the lady who did my hypnosis, she just took me to a past life. And when I started looking around, I saw a cliff, and I just saw the landscape, and I started describing it. And then I just knew, once you start talking, the information starts coming to you. So the more I walked around, I could figure out where I was. And then she told me to look at the spiritual mirror, and I could see my feet, I could see my shoes, I could see what I look like, I could feel my hair. I was bald headed, and I had like a robe on. And then she said, what do you see? And I said, there's the ocean, there's a big ship out there. And she said, what's on the ship? And so I wanted to know. And so I sent my consciousness to the ship, and I said, there's spices. I knew what it was. I said, they're coming to trade. And I don't know how, I just knew. It's just a knowing. It's the information just downloads. It comes right to you. It's amazing.
What's the difference between hopping dimensions in trying to find information for yourself and your higher consciousness compared to, say, dealing with aliens or cryptids?
Well, aliens we are the aliens. We are aliens. When we go back into past lives, we find out we have alien lives. So, it's like no big deal, really. I only connect with the highest being, so I don't come across anything creepy or dark. I did have a session with a girl. She was on a boat, and she felt this guy's energy that she was. But then the next day she sent me an article, and she found this guy, and she found his obituary. And I was like, so was that you? So, yeah, it's sometimes they don't get all the information. Sometimes they do. It just depends on how much you're able to handle. If that makes sense.
So how much are you able to handle? Because this is serious woo here.
Oh, I go deep. I wish I can hold more information, because a lot of times people talk about things that I have no idea what they're talking about until afterwards. And I'm like, oh man, I wish I would have known, because I would have asked better questions. But I go with my intuition, and because I'm psychic, I can see a lot of stuff that they're seeing. So if you watch my videos, a lot of times I'm already knowing what they're seeing. And don't ask me how, it's just a knowing. It's just a intuitive knowing. And plus I do my spiritual work, so I try to keep that connection clear. But it's fascinating. It's really cool. Like, You can connect with anybody, Sasquatch. You can, I can tell you about all that stuff. Sasquatch. Alba Wyman was a Sasquatch. Go watch her video. She did a past life. She was a Sasquatch. She talks about the military coming for her with the drones. I heard somebody on your show, I think, was talking about they use the light beam at them or whatever. I'm like, yeah, they use that sound technology and, stuff like that. But yeah, they're interdimensional.
We got 4 minutes to go before we have to go to break at the bottom of the hour. And Maya Rosso is our guest tonight on the show. Maya, we're going to get a few questions from our audience in the next half hour. But for you, all of this communication, how do you break it down to find one general path?
Ironically, all the pieces of the puzzle seem to fit together. When I do these sessions, somehow I'm able to keep connecting pieces together, and I'm able to ask questions and get more information. So I've just been paying attention to the timelines and divinely guided. Whoever they bring me, it's always for an activation reason, because we're realigning with our soul family. So yeah, did I answer that?
Well, how do we find our soul family, though? That's a whole different concept right there.
It's who you feel connected to, who you feel drawn to, people who get you, people who we know who our friends are, but people that are on your level. Like, for instance, a lot of people my teachers are my soul family. Rising Phoenix Aurora, who I learned from, I found out that's my big sister. I found out that other people as well as part of my soul tribe, my soul family. I'm a Stargate keeper and Indigo Angel. I don't know if you heard of her yet. You should check her out. She's part of my team. She's a grid worker. Rising Phoenix Aurora, she brings this to help people eradicate the darkness. So you look around and you say, oh, okay, this is where I belong. These are my people. These are my tribe. There's no fighting. Everybody makes sense.
How do you make sense out of something that's not very sensical like this, though?
You have to meet up at the right time on that path, on the journey. You just have, like a lot of people have sleep paralysis. They can start there, or remote viewing, they can relate to that, right? It's very kind of on the same way. It's like, you got to get there. Did I just make that confusing?
Well, I mean, you kind of. How do you get there, though? What's the frequency, Kenneth? What's the path?
You have to have the frequency of wonder. You have to be like a child and be curious and have wonder. People are too close-minded. They can't think outside the box. They can't think outside the box. They can't believe it. But if you just try to believe it, you'll see it. Seeing is believing. I used to say, where's the UFOs? If there's UFOs, show me. I yelled at the sky for like a year. Finally, I saw a UFO right in front of my face. And I had a witness. So it happens. It does. Trust me, I got more to tell you. There's so much more.
But
like
is
necromancy.
Is that not
remind me about that one?
Is that not manifestation, though, rather than wishful thinking?
We're supposed to be manifestors. We're creators. We are creator beings. We're supposed to be manifesting everything. Ask and you shall receive. Want nothing. Remember, we're not supposed to want nothing. Everything will come to us. You have to live with faith. That's how you do it. That's what I did. I had to start like really, and I haven't looked back, and I'm glad, because I used to be so nervous and so scared to do this or do that. Now I just follow my heart. If I feel it in my heart, I do it. If I don't feel it, I don't mess with it.
All right. We have Maya Rosso on Spaced Out Radio till the top of the hour. What a great show so far. Indeed. Communication with aliens, communication with other dimensions, time travel. Who's talking for Sasquatch? We got it all coming up next on Spaced Out Radio. Stay tuned. All right, we are clear.
Yay.
Fun show tonight.
Indeed.
You having fun?
I am. I'm keeping my migraine away. It's like,
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
Yes, love is the answer to all.
Just getting my news prepped. Here, let's go. Why don't you give everybody, while we're waiting here, give everybody your YouTube channel and your and way to connect with you.
SOSQHT. Keep it simple. My website has everything on it. My links to my YouTube page. My YouTube is SOSQHT. My social media is SOSQHT.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Corey Pickering, how you doing? Who else has joined us? The lovely and talented Kira. Kira is back. Yeah, make sure you put your questions in capital letters, guys. Makes it easier for me to mark them and then see them. Hi, me, Awaken. How you doing? Trying to figure out what I had for dinner. Oh, I got a creepy story for everybody. Creepy story. I told Maya this before the show. This happened to me today. Okay, so for those of you who know, I am a smoker. Okay, and whether you, I don't want the whole aspect of it. Okay, anyways, so I got a pack of fresh cigarettes last night because I was running out. And I went to work this morning, and in my very many lower pack, where I only had a couple left, I finished that pack, threw it in the garbage. While later, about an hour later, I decided I'm going to have a cigarette again. And I'm checking my pockets, and I don't have any. There's no pack in my pocket. So I check my desk drawer, nothing. I go to my vehicle, nothing. So I walk across the street, pick up 2 packs. I unwrap one, put it in my right pocket, take the full one that is unwrapped or that is wrapped, put it in my left pocket, walk back across the highway to my office, put the wrapped pack in my drawer. I go outside about 45 minutes later for a cigarette, and I pull out a fully wrapped pack of cigarettes out of my right pocket. Yeah. I'm like, what the hell are these doing here? And then I reached back into my pocket, and there was the open pack that I had just unwrapped. So somehow a full pack of cigarettes actually manifested back into my pockets, and I don't know how that happened today. It trips me out.
I have some ideas for you.
I'm tripped out by it.
It sounds like parallel timelines, because we go in and out of parallel. I was told we go in and out of parallel timelines. I've had that happen to me twice. That freaked me out. One time I was looking for my ketchup. Looked for everywhere for my ketchup. Couldn't find my ketchup. Finally, I said, forget it. I'm just going to eat my food without my ketchup. I sit down. I go to sit down, and what's sitting on my chair? The ketchup. How could it be on my chair? I was just sitting there. There's no way it could have got there. And then another time I was looking for my sneakers to go to the gym, and I looked underneath where I keep them. They weren't there. I took everything out. They weren't there. Put everything back. The next day I wake up and I look downstairs and I see a sneaker sticking out. And I'm like, okay, it's just one. I look, there's two in there. I said, how did they get there? They weren't there before. I mean, there's other things that have happened to me. I've had quite a few, actually. But I was told
hold on right there,
parallel
dear.
worlds.
Thank you. Hold on. Here we go. We pass the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate earning your listening ears. Reminder to all of you that if you missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor. Hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the Newswire, check out our swag. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on TikTok at Spaced Out Radio. Somebody's dog is barking. I think that's our guest, my Rosso. How are you, my good friend?
Well, thank you. Yes, it's my Yorkie. Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Your Yorkie is allowed to say hello to our audience tonight. What's your Yorkie's name?
Gypsy.
Go figure.
Gypsy,
all right, let's get to some audience questions here.
Yes.
Let's start off with Kim Jellin, who is asking, what's the point of being psychic for everything? What's the point? Why do we get that gift?
Well, everybody's psychic, and it's the natural way to have all your clairs open. But a child is usually born with a lot of their clairs. You know, babies can see angels and things like that. They see spirits. But once you start getting older, your family starts telling you things. Oh, you didn't see that. Oh, it's okay. Don't worry. It's just your imagination. And then they start closing up. So by the time they're 12, they've already been closed down. So, but psychic is very important. It's your natural abilities. I mean, there's so much to us that we don't realize. Like, we can levitate off the floor. I've seen it.
Have you ever levitated?
Me? No. I had a guy come in my house and levitate in front of me, though. Freaked me out. But
how high did he get off? How high did he get off the ground?
A foot. He was a foot. And I looked down, and my daughter still says she didn't see it. I said, you were sitting right there with me.
Weird. Let's go to Nikki in Seattle. Do you put your shields on during sleep?
2 hours before I go to sleep, but I was told at dusk, when the sun goes down, that's when you're supposed to put your second shields, because when it's dark, things happen, But before you go to bed, you can also imagine yourself in a golden egg. That egg will keep you safe and protected too, because the dark aliens, they scan your houses when you sleep, and they look for people with the brightest lights. So they attack you in your sleep. Sleep paralysis and nightmares and all kinds of fun stuff.
See, I don't know if they attack you in your sleep. I think what happens is when you start bringing in, your interest in opening up your mind, your body, and your soul to its spiritual connection. I think it's like, it turns out like an old Kmart blue light special, where that blue light shoots up from your yard, and anything that's flying over can pick it up. And that's how I think it kind of works.
Well, it's basically, we are lighthouses. We are the lights, right? So when we're not shielded, they see us. and then they come for us. They look for the light because they don't have the light. They need the light. They need the light to feed off of. So when you're sleeping, they can abduct you. They can do all kinds of stuff while you're sleeping. And a lot of times when you have sleep paralysis, that should tell you right there that it's happening. I've had sleep paralysis twice, but I just hope I've never been abducted. I don't know. But
Well-
I did come across my first abduction from watching a UFO. I told this girl, I said, I was told when you see a UFO, it's their way of telling you you've already been abducted. It's just telling you it's not in your mind. And so she told me she saw a UFO with her brothers, and I did a regression with her, and sure enough, she was abducted. And it was by, like, I don't know if they're a mantis. They look like ant people or something, but she went through the whole thing with her higher self. I'm putting that on my YouTube page. I haven't edited it yet, but yeah. When you sleep, there's a lot of stuff, and it happens to children too. And they do hybrid programs. There's lots of hybrid children. There's hybrids on the dark side of the moon. Hey.
What is on the dark side of the moon?
That used to be a galactic school back in the day, and now since it's been taken over by the Greys, it's a hybrid center, and they make people on the moon, the dark side of the moon, and they abduct people, and there's people there that have been there forever that are stuck there. There's a guy, a friend of mine, he was abducted and he went to the dark side of the moon, Ricky G, and he talks about it. And so when I did a regression with my friend, I sent him to go look to investigate, and he said, sure enough, there was a lot of funny stuff going on there. Aliens. You know the lady they found on the moon with the stuff?
The Mona Lisa?
That lady is my friend's mother. In her regression, she talks about it. She says the head that they found with her was a blue head. That head was her husband. And she had to eat him to stay alive. And so she left his head. She was there for 1 million years.
Oh, my. Wow.
And that was old technology that she had. It was a telepathic system that helped navigate the plane. I've heard people talk about it. They've said it. They know. I've heard it.
There's actually a question from the audience about the Mona Lisa in here for you, and I'm just trying to find it. That's from Sovereign here. This guest reminds me of the Mona Lisa alien they found on the moon. Are you familiar with this? Are you a starseed from this, Maya?
I am not a starseed from this. It is my friend's mother. If you go to my YouTube page, you can find the story where they talk about it. It's the session where they say Inky and Lil, and they talk about it. They tell her story, part of her story. And my friend says that when her mother was alive, she used to joke about that she was the lady on the moon. And so when she visited her mom in the session, she said, I told you I was the lady on the moon. And so, yeah, she confirmed it. That was her. And they were from, where did she say they were from? They're connected to the Zulu people somehow. I forget how she said it. Yeah, I'll have to go back and listen to it. I don't know. But the language they speak is like clicky like that too. It was a very, yeah. Yeah. Wow. I know a little bit about that.
That is still a trip for me. Still very much a trip. All right, let's go over to DB Nobody. How does one contact Maya via social media?
SOSQHT.com or YouTube. Any social media that you can find me, just message me, contact me. My website is a good way.
All right, let's go to Penny Van. Which Cleopatra were you in the past life? The one most people think was the seventh. During the time in Greece, prominent family named all females Cleopatra.
Yes, that's the family line. I heard she was the 9th. I was the 9th. The last Cleopatra. Yep. She was from what I heard about my story, from my personal story, there's a Rising Phoenix Aurora channels Cleopatra, so she actually tells her story there. But my part of it that I was told is that all they told me was that I tried to help save everybody and I couldn't save them. So look where that got me. Yeah, did I say that on here? I did, didn't I? Yeah,
You
Cleopatra.
did. Cleopatra. Go figure.
And my spirit guide is Bastet. She guards my Akashic records. Yeah.
Awesome. Let's go to another question from our audience. Jeff Steve Garvey is asking, what reptilians are cool?
There are positive reptilians. There are some positive reptilians. They're not all negative. And there's more positive polarizing right now too. They're just like humans. They're in the they're 3D. They're in the third dimension. They're being used and enslaved by the Draconians. And just like we're under Draconian law, they're enslaved by the Draconians. They don't want to do this anymore. They're tired of this role. And so we save them. We help liberate them and the planets and the children, because they get eaten, they get breeded on, they get used as weapons, they get used for everything, just like us. So yeah, we're able to help them and any Draconians that want to positive polarize. Otherwise, the angels come in and off with their heads. It's only two options now. It's either positive polarize or you go back to point zero, and that's it. You don't keep your consciousness. So that's what we're dealing with. We're eradicating the dark. The reptilians can be saved, yes. And they know me. They watch my videos, they told me.
Well, that's good.
They see everything we do, just so you guys know. They watch everything.
That's good. All right, let's continue on here. Let's go to Shelley. What do you think of King Tut's brother?
Who's his brother?
I don't know. I just asked the questions.
I need some more information on that. I don't know. King Tut's brother.
We'll work on that one, Shelley, in our chat room. Try and be specific with your questions, if you don't mind, people. It helps out. Sovereign wants to know, are you familiar with the work of Michael Tellinger, and do you believe he is in direct contact with Anunnaki, as he claims?
I don't know who he is.
Perfect. Moving on. Maya, do you believe Gerald Clark? Do you know who Gerald Clark is?
Nope.
A lot of people don't know these specific names, so any more specific name questions, I'm not going to ask them. Okay? You talked to Mother Mary. Do you know when you came across her descendant bloodline?
So a lot of us are reincarnated from a lot of these people, right? So I've met like 5 people that are connected to Mother Mary. So I'm connected to Mary Magdalene. My husband is connected to Yeshua. So, you know,
fun times.
We're remembering who we are. If your name is Mary or Maria, there's a good chance you're connected. The names tell the secrets. The names are real. It just is this, yeah.
And once again, for people who are listening in, maybe just tuning in, you're doing this during like a meditative channeling state, correct?
The people are in hypnosis, yes. But what I can also say about Mother Mary, her descendants came from Atlantis. They were the Kalu people. They were making sure no bear is going to run up on me. They're the Kalu people, and they are from the Ra collective. They work with the Anunnaki, actually, I was told. Yep.
All right, let's continue on here. And let us go to Izzy. Are any of the races of Greys benevolent?
Negative. Nope.
Not a fan?
They're not. But the funny thing is that Like I've had a couple people had past lives as grays, and they have their own like thing with each other. Like, so I guess is there, they always say there's no good and bad, but the grays that deal with us here, I can't say they're good. No way. But I can help save them.
Okay, let's move on here. And we got a few more from our audience. Let's go over to Amy. Do you get used to the bad guys? I think I am used to them.
Do I get used to the bad guys?
Yeah, there's bad guys all around.
I send them love. Love is the most powerful weapon tool we have. So I just send everybody love. It's the only thing I could do.
Give us an instance of where you've had to deal with some bad spirits.
Well, the gray that I had to deal with, he was energetically stabbing my client, and she was like, arching her back, and you could tell like she was getting stabbed in the side, and she was screaming, and he was growling and snarling at me, and I was like a little nervous. This was my first time dealing with something like this, and I was nervous, but I held on to my trust of love, and I called in the divine goddesses of love, because he wouldn't let the archangels in. He wouldn't let Jesus in. I was like, what do I do? This is scary. And so I called in the divine goddesses of love, because what man can resist the divine goddess of love? So I called in everyone I could think of. I called in Isis. I called in Aphrodite. I don't remember. I called in as many as I could think of. Freya, Pele. I called in all the divine goddesses, and I asked, what did that look like? And they said, it was a golden ring around him, and there was these beautiful tall goddesses, and they were palm to palm around him in a ring. And when he seen this, he was like, you would do that for me? And I was like, yes, I'm trying to tell you, I love you. I want to help you. And I found out that he wasn't exalted. He was upset. He had his heart broken. So he matched the frequency of this girl, and that's how he was able to get into her and damn near kill her. And I was able to help him. And I was able to get Yeshua inside and give him a cup of love. And then we were able to get him out of her body, but it took 2 hours for him to get completely out of her body. And luckily she was psychic, so she could help guide me. She was saying, keep going, Maya, keep going. I love her. I wish she let that one out, but she's like, you're going to take that one to your grave. You could take screenshots. She was like, that was an exorcism. I was like, girl, you have to tell people the story. So I always tell her story, because as long as I can tell her story, I'm like, girl, I got to tell your story. I got to at least tell this story. But yeah, I've met a nasty gray. I also met a nasty draconian recently that didn't want to save a ship. So the archangels had to come in and take them out. So I've encountered 2 so far, and I've done like over 50 sessions. Yeah.
All right, let's continue on here. Let's go to Christine. What oils do you use, and which one is your favorite?
Rosemary. Put it on your third eye. It's a strong protection for your third eye. It's very, very powerful. Rosemary or rose oil. Olive oil on your crown as well. My go-tos.
Very nice. Okay, let's continue on. Let's go to Deb. Are you in physical state when you were seeing these things, as in physically there?
You're in your spiritual body, so you are there on another dimension. They can see you. You're there. You're experiencing everything. Yeah, you're transporting, teleporting, beam me up, Scotty type of stuff. It's not like remote viewing. You're physically there. You're there. They can see you. They can interact with you. Unless I make you invisible, but usually you're there.
Okay, let's continue on. Let's go over to a couple questions from Super Crazy. Did the aliens build the pyramids in Egypt or elsewhere on Earth?
They actually laughed. They said, ha ha ha, you man think you built the pyramids. Ha ha ha. They're like, no, you didn't do that. No, they used technology. They used it floated. They used whatever gravity thing that they used. They floated them. They use their technology, their crystal technology. The pyramids are very important. They line up with the stars and they help ground Earth. Without those pyramids, Earth would fall. Try not to say that so they don't know. And there's many more pyramids coming up. They're everywhere.
And on different planets, which is kind of cool.
Yes.
All right, let's continue on here. As we got 4 minutes here. Super crazy again. Are there any alien species that we may want to romance? Oh my.
Whatever floats your boat. I ain't gonna tell you who to love.
Right? Right? Very nice. Okay. let us move on. Let's go to Deb. Was Mark Anthony a good lover there, Cleo?
That part I do not know. But I believe my husband now, because I've had 2 husbands like Cleopatra, and I think she had a whole bunch of kids too. It's so very wild. But yeah, it's funny. Now I have Jesus. I get to be with Jesus, so it's good.
Okay, let's final question from our audience tonight. This one comes from Kira. Have you met the inner beings of Earth? If so, what did they look like, and did they offer you any insight?
Yeah, the first ones I met were in Mount Shasta, Arcturians, and they said that they're ready. They're ready to make themselves known. They're ready. They're preparing. Everybody's preparing, and there's a lot of Earthlings down there as well. They look like grayish kind of people, but they were really tall and skinny. And I also went to the inner Earth where we saw giants that look like Igor. They were big giants, live in crystal houses. You have to check out my YouTube page. You can watch all of these videos and binge on it. Yeah.
Well, that's very nice. I mean, so how many different creatures are living in the inner Earth?
A lot. A lot. You have Agartha. You have Agartha. There's a lot of people. When the Earth went from the fifth to the third dimension, they went in the inner Earth. So Cleopatra didn't die. She actually went into the inner Earth. She never died.
Let's sneak one more question in here from Derek. Have you ever met someone who has done physical healing miracles?
Yeah, I do. And the lady who did me. That's what we do. We're miracle workers.
Oh, yes. Please give me a miracle on my back.
Come see me.
Oh, my back is killing me. But do me a favor, as we have about a minute or so left with you tonight, and I want to say a big thank you from all of us at Spaced Out Radio. This was a lot of fun tonight. A lot of fun and a lot of high quality woo, which always gets me a little bit jacked up. So I appreciate, the conversation. And when I say that I get jacked up and excited about it, it's because I am, because I love talking about different things on this show. A lot of people out there will say, oh, well, how do we know? How do we know it's out there? Just go with it. Just let it go and stop questioning and just let it sink in. That's all you got to do. Let it sink in. Tell everybody where they can find your YouTube channel and your website.
SOSQHT, Saving Our Souls Quantum Healing Therapy. Keep it simple. SOSQHT.
And are you on other social media platforms, Facebook?
I am. So you'll see a whole bunch of stuff pop up when you search me. You'll find me.
Excellent. Excellent. Maya, thank you so much for coming on Spaced Out Radio. Very much appreciate you staying up late with us. What a great time I had, and I hope you did too.
I did. Thank you. Blessings and infinite love to you and everyone watching. Thank you for your questions.
Not a problem. Coming up next in hour number 3, Steve Stockton is back with a creepy story about Franz Ferdinand. Then, Shane Michael Crisp has a shortened cryptid report. It's Dave 101 night, and I got the strange news as well. Spaced Out Radio continues after this. Have a good night. You
Have a
take
good
care.
night.
Okay?
Blessings and love.
Thank you for doing this. This was a lot of fun.
Anytime. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Her energy is impeccable. It's absolutely impeccable. I loved her. She's amazing. Amazing. I'm going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. All right, I am back. We got just over a minute to go. Feeling good. Shane Michael Crisp is sitting in his green chair, all ready for us. That was a fun show. We hit some good woo on that one, guys. Hey, Justin Hemmingson, how are you? Daniel, how you been doing? SOSQHT, hello. I recognize you. Right there. Hi. So much fun. Wasn't she just a delight, Maya? She was. Good energy on that young lady. Geez, I'm at the age where I'm starting to call people young lady. Oh my God. Thank you tonight to Kira, Lala, W. Decker, Carlito, Deb ×2, Vaughn, and Sandra for the great super chats. Very much appreciate the love, everybody. Thank you so much. And don't forget to hit subscribe, ring that bell. After the show, leave a comment. If you haven't, well, kind of we're on the air, so you can't right now. But here we go with hour 3.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Here we go with the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on Odyssey Radio, TalkStream Live, and KPNL. All of our archives are free. Join us at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Yantra. Yantra is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the Newswire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on TikTok at Spaced Out Radio. It is that time of the night where we kick off hour number 3 with a spooky story from Steve Stockton and Among the Missing.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Among the Missing YouTube channel on Spaced Out Radio. I'm Steve Stockton, and I'm about to take you on an unbelievable journey of people just like you. Their stories and encounters will haunt us on Among the Missing. The beginning of World War I started in this car. Archduke Franz Ferdinand red Graf and Stift double Phaeton limousine on June 28, 1914. Ferdinand's assassination and the bizarre coincidences of that day were just the beginning of the limousine's bloodthirsty history. The tale of Franz Ferdinand's possessed limousine starts with the assassination. While driving through the city of Sarajevo, Bosnia, amid the Austro-Serbian conflict, a rebel group called the Black Hand threw a bomb at the unpopular Archduke's car. By luck, the bomb bounced off the convertible cover and detonated under a vehicle traveling behind the motorcade, injuring members of Ferdinand's security detail. Many feel it was self-preservation on the limousine's part that served Ferdinand, at least the first time. Although this route had been predictable, the coincidences of the rest of the day are astounding. Ferdinand decided to deviate from his agenda and visit the security staff members who had been injured in the first assassination attempt who were still in the hospital. An unfamiliar route, a driver who didn't know the area, and an inexplicable malfunction in the limousine's engine culminated in the deaths of the Archduke and his wife, Sophie. The spot where the vehicle stalled happened to be outside the very cafe where Gavrilo Princip, an amateur member of the Black Hand movement who had earlier participated in the bomb attack, had been drowning his sorrows over the unsuccessful amateurish assassination attempt. Princip couldn't believe his luck and simply walked outside, pulled a gun, and shot blindly but deathly accurately at Ferdinand and his wife, who were at this point irritated about the interrupted trip and unaware that their deaths were approaching from behind. Ferdinand died of a severed jugular and his wife of a stomach wound. The limousine suffered no damage in either the bombing or the shooting. Before his death, Franz Ferdinand had been in a strange mood. Weeks before, he'd shot and killed a white stag, which was believed to be a very bad omen. Legend says that anyone who kills a white stag would either die or have someone they loved taken within a year. In Franz Ferdinand's case, it was both. Several people close to him say that he was aware he would soon be dead. Some time before, a fortune teller had specifically and correctly predicted that Ferdinand would one day let loose a world war. Also, Ferdinand's childhood tutor, a bishop, had dreamed about his assassination. Over the next 12 years, another 11 deaths, 13 in total, were officially recorded and linked to the same limousine. A respected army general who drove the limousine for a short time after the Archduke's death went insane and ended up in an asylum, raving about the demon inside the limousine. Another military officer died in a particularly gruesome incident that reportedly involved pedestrians as well. The next owner had an unbelievable 4 accidents in a short time, and after losing an arm in the last one, he got rid of the limousine. A doctor then bought the car, and he got off lightly. When his patients started ditching him, he sold the cursed limousine to another doctor who scoffed at the notion it was cursed. He was found alongside the highway with his body crushed beneath it. A racing driver was the next to die when the car threw him over a wall and he suffered a broken neck. He hadn't been racing at the time. After that, a wealthy farmer bought the vehicle. It mysteriously stalled one day, and while being towed, the car suddenly came to life and leaped forward, killing both the farmer and the man who had been helping him tow the car. The last lives claimed by Franz Ferdinand's limousine were 6 at once in a head-on collision. A jolly man and 5 friends in high spirits were on their way to a wedding when they met their end in the demon car. Some say the limousine was offended when it was repainted from blood red to a peaceful blue and waited for its chance to take the maximum number of lives as revenge. Through all of these accidents, the vehicle suffered strangely minimal damage. People marveled over the car's ability to protect itself and seemingly heal or regenerate seemingly overnight. Eventually, the government sent the car to a museum, which was destroyed by Allied forces in World War II. Some say that all that was left to the museum curator, who wouldn't allow anyone to ever sit in the vehicle, were his hands found clenched around the intact steering wheel of the demon car. There's another fascinating fact about the limousine involving its license plate, which was AIII-118. The date of the armistice, or the end of World War I, was November 11, 1918. There are many people who attribute the entire war and 17 million killed to the demon in this vehicle, which seemingly also predicted the end of the bloodshed it started.
And thank you to Steve Stockton from Among the Missing for another great spooky report. Just like that. If you want more, head on over to Among the Missing on YouTube. That's youtube.com/Among the Missing. And you can get dozens of stories just like that for free and listen to them anytime you want. All right, from Among the Missing to the weird, strange happenings in the forests all around, we have the Cryptid Report, filling in for Super Duke Shane Michael Chris from West Coast Dogman. We have until the bottom of the hour. Shane Michael Chris for the North American Dogman Federation Foundation. Fraudulent. I don't know what the F stands for, but I know it's not the one bad word. But nonetheless, my friend.
Good, brother. How are you doing tonight? Great show so far.
I am great. I am getting really pumped up. Going to look for Sasquatch again this weekend.
Oh, awesome. Great.
Following weekend, look for Sasquatch. I'm on a Sasquatch binge right now, man.
Wow, good for you. Good for you. I was gonna let you know. I'm sorry I wasn't able to come on last Thursday because of work, but I did go last weekend to check on that U.S. forestry, Sasquatch report that was in my area, and it turned
Right.
out to be it was just a fluke. So you were right. You called it. My wife and I, we drove up there to check it out. We talked to two park rangers, and they're like, we never posted anything. So, like you said, they post these things as ha ha, like, just to keep people aware and maybe on the edge of their toes. I don't know, but it turned out it was a false flag. So
But you know what? If you don't go out there and investigate, as hokey as it may be,
mhm.
all it takes is that one time for it to be right.
Exactly. And that's something that I've learned from a good buddy of mine, Nick Valente, was something that you have to prove to disprove. So if you can, somebody can post something, but if there's nobody that goes and checks it out, how are we supposed to, prove that it exists or it's just fake or whatever it is? So my wife and I, we drove up that weekend after what was it, 2 weeks ago when I had posted, I was all about it. Dev Rooney, the former Region 1 director for the North American Dogman Project, was the one that shared it to me. And I was like, hey, we need to put some boots on the ground, just go check it out. So we didn't go look for Dogman or Sasquatch, but we went to go look for that actual sign that was posted. So we did talk to two park rangers in the area near the Johnsondale Bridge. And unfortunately, it was just a false flag. So we had to prove to disprove.
Yeah, and I've seen those signs, that warn tourists and campers and hikers about Sasquatch. I've seen those signs in British Columbia and Montana, and all over the place pop up on the internet. But, it does go to show, though, my friend, that even though people are using it for a little bit of humor and a little bit of fun, that as long as Sasquatch is in the conversation, it means that people are going to be aware. And
Exactly.
and if they are aware, well, that kind of makes things a little bit easier for, you know, people maybe getting a sighting that has never been reported.
I agree. And that's what we need. We need more people to come forward with something if they do see something strange, to come forward to great organizations like the BFRO or just the NADP, whether it's a dog man or a Sasquatch, so we can, get an investigation crew out there to check it out to see if it was a dog man or a Sasquatch or maybe a man in a suit. Do we know? But we really have to just get someone out there just to look in the area, just to investigate and just say, hey, this is what we saw. This is what the evidence that we found. So I agree with you 100% on that.
A number of years ago, on YouTube, there was a big push for fake Sasquatch videos where people were dressing up as this creature and really putting stupid videos on YouTube. And it reminds me that how lucky none of them got shot. You know,
Right.
because especially in the US where everybody and their dog and cat have a gun, okay?
Yep.
It really doesn't surprise me that some of these people who were pulling these Sasquatch pranks didn't accidentally get shot.
I
You
agree
know,
with you.
is that still really going on? Do you still hear a lot of fake reports like that?
Well, it's not just so much the fake reports that I hear. What I've been seeing a lot, especially on YouTube, is the AI generated photos. And now it's almost seems like they've got AI generated videos. And a couple of the ones that are circulating right now are these. There's two of them that look like dogmen, but they're moving in motion, but the video is very distorted. And people are saying, is this a real dogman? Is it just clickbait or is it, that's what they're doing? But with the technology that we have nowadays, and you got a lot of people saying, "Oh, that's a dogman, that's a dogman," or "Oh, that's a Sasquatch." But AI is taking over to where it's almost hard to differentiate what's real and what's not. So that's the hard thing that's going on right now. That's unfortunately going on with YouTube and social media.
Yeah, it has to make it difficult, especially when people are out there trying to make their maybe get their 5, 10, 15 minutes of fame by making one of these fake videos. And I just find it very intriguing that people would take a chance at that. People would take a chance at potentially, how can we put it? You know, hurting themselves, putting themselves in harm's way in order to maybe get 1 million views. Because right now, I mean, you look at the internet with YouTube and all of these, different, the shorter the videos become, the more brazen, especially the younger crowd, is getting, because they want that pop, they want that thrill, they want that relevance of social media.
Exactly. And that's what it is. It's almost trying to fit in with the crowd and clickbait and how many subscribers can you get or how many likes can you get. And with the what we get in the Sasquatch community and what we get in the Dogman community is when people do go out there, like myself, for example, in the beginning, I was out there just taking photos and then I would share them online. People would say, well, why does it look like you're shooting through a potato? Why is it so pixelated? But then you got these people that are making these AI generated videos that are clearly a creature or a subject of interest in the video that looks very real, but you can tell that it's fake. Because I mean, a real dog man isn't going to be moving the way that these things do, or a Sasquatch. I mean, it's just you can tell that it's AI generated. So it really throws a hammer or a wrench in our tires, and we don't get anywhere in the community as moving forward as in our research. And then that's why people laugh at us, that the outsiders, the closed-minded people that say, oh, Sasquatch and Dogman aren't real, because of things like this. And it's just another concrete wall that we have to, move around or just try to tear down till we get that Patterson Gimlin type footage of a Dogman or another really clear one of a Sasquatch to move forward with this.
With CGI and the way graphics are today, do you not find it impossible that we will ever see that Patterson Gimlin type film again of a Sasquatch or Dogman?
Well, that's a really good question that you say, Dave, because at the same time, with CGI and everything, it's going to be hard because no matter what, you can have the clearest photo and someone's still going to say, hey, that's just someone in a costume, or that's CGI, that's just fake. But it's really hard right now in the Dogman community. We don't have any, concrete evidence like we do with the Sasquatch with the Patterson Gimlin film. So right now we're at a concrete barrier, in my personal opinion. We've got, really good prints. We've got, a couple legit looking photos, but there's no real scientific evidence behind it to say, hey, that was a dog man. So, I mean, really, photos can only say 1,000 words, but I do believe we're in our infancy, maybe 5, 10, 15 years down the road, maybe the Dogman community with evidence, if we get more researchers out there investigating, looking for these bipedal canines, that we can almost be up there with the Patterson Gimlin film. But the Sasquatch has, I want to say, a 50-year run on the Dogman. It seems like the Dogman community didn't really take off till 2014, 2015, where Patterson Gimlin film started. What it was, at 1968 was when it was filmed. So we have more researchers in the Bigfoot community than we do the Dogman. And then when you look at the UFO community, what was it? The Roswell incident in 1947. I mean, the U.S. government starting to release soft disclosure right now. And it's been, 70 years that we're talking? So it's moving like a snail right now. But I believe in this lifetime, I try to be optimistic. So I do think in my lifetime, I hope to see that maybe there'll be some redacted reports that we'll get in the next 20 years of the government coming out saying, hey, there's some bipedal canines in the national parks. But I mean, like I said, it's all just theory based and being hopeful. So really, I just try to be optimistic about it.
Okay, but I mean, with technology and everything, I mean,
Mhm.
it has to make your skills as an investigator a lot harder, trying to figure out what is actually true and what's fake, what's fact and what's fiction.
Exactly. And that's what you almost have to do, is prove to disprove, but really almost try to weed out the nonsense. But at the same time, I have to keep an open mind to every report I've ever received. I have one that was so crazy where a gentleman said that he raised a dog man. As much as this is so crazy to say, I can't just throw it out. I have to put it in my archives and just say, hey, if I ever come across a report like that or several more, then maybe we could bring that forward and, say, hey, this might be a possibility. So being a dogman investigator, it's very hard to really know what's facts and what's just creepy pasta. You almost have to just listen to every encounter. I spend every day listening to endless hours of YouTube encounters and have to almost weed out what's creepy pasta, what's clickbait, and then listen to a real encounter and say, okay, you can hear the genuine, the tremble in someone's voice. Like I listened to this one today. It was a gentleman from Youngstown, Ohio. It was shared by Sasquatch Theory, and it's gotten over 45,000 views in just the last 2 weeks. Probably one of the most terrifying encounters you'll ever listen to. But you hear the guy talk about how when he was a child that him and his buddies ran into this dog man. And I know we don't have a lot of time, but I just say go check it out. And it totally, the hairs on my arm stood up. If you ever check this out, Dave, I'll send you the link after we're done here. But one of those are the type of stories that I listen to, and I'm like, okay, it checks off every checklist on my list that it's saying, okay, is this guy lying? Is he legit? But he's not looking for fame. They brought him on. He's been on that kind of show beforehand. But this one particular interview went almost 2 hours into detail, and he describes the dog man being chased by it. And it, to me, it's one of the most, I'd say the top 3 best encounters I've ever listened to. So you just almost have to do your own research on it and know what you think's real and what's not real, or what's creepy pasta and what's hoaxed, I guess you could say.
Right. And that's the big one is trying to figure out the whole belief aspect of what we can believe and what we can't. We do know that there are creatures out there that are mysterious, whether it's Dogman, whether it's Bigfoot, or whether it's gnomes that are, living in trees and just trying to, make their way into the gardens.
Hey, I agree. The veil's thinning. That's one thing I do know is the veil's thinning. So
yeah. So, I mean, when we look at everything going forward, it's tough to really try and bring, reality into something that isn't very, how can we put it? That isn't very, or that is, I'll use the word suspect. That's very suspect with the information that's out there, because there isn't a lot.
exactly. And that's what we have in the dogman community. We have a lot of encounters that people will report, but you almost have to think about it. Is it subjective? One thing, like reading I just finished the Texas Dogman Triangle book for the second time, just going over it. And it's something I highly recommend if you haven't seen the documentary on Amazon Prime or just on Tubi. But Aaron Deese writes about it, but like he even says in the book, every encounter is subjective. You almost just have to think, just because someone tells you something doesn't mean it was really true. I mean, you have to take their word for, hey, this is what you saw, but you have to almost do your own research on it. And that's what he does in this book. And I mean, there is a high sighting of dogmen in the Texas area. So, I mean, dating back to 1887 to current day, they're out there. Like you said, you almost just have to do your own research and just see what facts and what's not.
Shane, thank you for coming on Spaced Out Radio for the abbreviated cryptid report tonight. Very much appreciate your great support and what you do on this show. We'll talk to you next week, my man.
Okay, sounds good, Dave. You have a good evening. Thanks.
You too. Shane Michael Chris from West Coast Dogman Project. You look him up online. He is absolutely everywhere. Coming up next, it's the Dave 101. Let's talk some aliens and the strange news of the week. All for you next. how we do it. Right there. That's how we do it. Mike Turner, how you doing? Welcome to SOR chat. Melba Ketchum is in the middle of doing work on a Dogman DNA. Yes, that's what she said on this show, too. Tony, 2013 FI, welcome to SOR FL, welcome to SOR chat. Thomas Rock, good to see you. Chuck Schumer literally went up to Triple H and said, "Can I borrow your theme song?" And then all of a sudden, it's time to play the game. It's time to play the game. Yeah, Chuck Schumer's got some big cojones stepping into the UFO world now. It looks good. We needed that. Donald Dean, how are you, my friend? I like Bettina Moss. Beautiful lady. Excuse me for yawning, people. I'm sorry, Maya. Maya, don't forget to hit subscribe. Ring that bell. We'll be watching. What is all the buzz about UFOs in Canada? Same thing that's happening in the U.S. right now. Very nice. Comfortably numb. Donald Dean has Pink Floyd. By the way, today is the 38th anniversary of Live Aid and the greatest performance ever by Queen. Hard to believe, 38 years ago. Did we crack? Hold on. Did we crack 38 or 23,000? Did we? No, we're 3 shy. We're at 22,997. 22,997. It's close enough where it rolls up on the screen. But we're 3 shy. Hi, Sensational Sherry. Random Guy's been busy. I know, Sovereign Farts. That's why I said YouTube scrolls up when you get close like that. Oh, I would have loved to have seen Queen live. I know, Kira, I just checked the back end. It's 22,997. Thank you tonight to SOS QHT, Deb ×3, Kira, Lala, W. Decker, Carlito, Vaughn, and Sandra for the lovely and wonderful super chats. Very much appreciate the love and support. Don't forget you can go shopping on our website, spacedoutradio.com. We got cool swag. Yeah, we do. Here we go. Here we go with the final half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate earning your listening ears. Reminder to all of you that if you miss most of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor. Hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on TikTok at Spaced Out Radio. It is that time of the night, that time of the week, where I yell at all the youngsters to get off my lawn. It's the Dave 101.
Time for Dave 101.
Open the door, it's Dave. Dave, D-A-V-E. Dave, out here. Dave's the killer. Yeah, Dave's the killer. Dave's a mess.
When this whole UFO hype started back in 2017 with the New York Times article, the one thing that I was told up until 2021 or so was, Dave, we're not talking aliens. We are not talking anything to do with UFOs, because UFOs mean little green guys and the public's going to make fun of everything that goes along with it. Yes, the New York Times article changed the way many people had their perceptions of this subject. Everybody was hopping on that fancy UAP bandwagon. But here's what we're learning. You ever notice that a lot of the politicians now will say, yeah, we've been tracking these UFOs and UAPs. Why do they segregate them if they're supposed to be the same thing? Doesn't make sense, doesn't it? Well, you know how much crap we have taken on this show over the years, not to pat our own back, when we were saying UFOs are UFOs, UAPs are man-made. We can thank all of the Chinese drones for that. But hence, still, not many people wanted to believe that, but we're going to run with that anyways. But the big thing here is, I remember having a conversation with Sean Cahill one day, and he was telling me point blank that the public is not ready. The government officials who were, as he put, we're trying to get serious with this topic, are not ready for extraterrestrials and aliens. We know they're there, but we have to keep the topic segregated. So you notice that when 2017 came out, right up until today, we've never heard a combination of UFOs and aliens, extraterrestrials, ultra-terrestrials, extra temptation island terrestrials, as Dr. Michael Masters likes to call them. No, we never heard that. We weren't allowed to talk aliens. Aliens were taboo. Aliens were back to the tinfoil conspiracies that we just pulled UFOs out of. Then comes along David Grush. David Grush, the whistleblower, comes out and says, you know what? We have pieces of craft. We have intact craft. And then he tells Ross Coulthart in an amazing interview, we also have the pilots. Well, guess what? Back in the day, old 2017, it was these craft could be Russian, they could be Chinese, they could be Russian, they could be Chinese, and they could be Russian or Chinese. Until they weren't. Until we learned that they were not of this world. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? If something comes from not of this world, and it has flight capabilities, it has technological capabilities, it can go from 80,000 feet and stop above the water of the ocean in 0.78 seconds, we know that that is inhuman. We know. And the point that I'm trying to make with this is this. Something or someone had to be flying those craft. Whether it was digitally, by remote control, by the mind, or a pilot inside, something was flying that craft. For years, decades, centuries, millennia, people have seen things flying in the sky way before aviation ever became a thing. And something or someone had to be flying them. And this is where I think we are going to see another big step taken very, very soon in ufology. And it may even happen near the end of this month. And that is, we've got aliens. We may finally hear, not from the President of the United States himself, because Lord knows he'll probably fall asleep during that speech again. But I will say this. I believe that extraterrestrials are about to come out in the next set of hearings, or close to it. Maybe the ones after that. Why do I believe this? Because Tim Burchett, the cowboy congressman, he wants to know where them aliens are too. Those who don't know Tim Burchett, he is in the House of Representatives for Tennessee's 2nd Congressional District, based out of Knoxville. A lot of people believe he is extreme right in his politics. But when it comes to UFOs, he's ringing the disclosure bell hard. He wants to know where's the craft and bodies from places like Roswell. He wants to know if we have crash retrievals, why don't we talk about it a little bit more? Why doesn't the public need to know? This is big time thinking. And the other thing that he wants to know is, are aliens here? Because if we already know and we can prove that these craft are not human, who's flying them? To us, they will be alien. Whether they are from a different time, a different dimension, or somewhere from the darkness of space. We've got aliens. And I believe this is going to be a huge topic moving forward, because there is no other alternative explanation anymore. David Grush opened that door, and that door is now wide open. All we are waiting for is further confirmation from other whistleblowers, maybe in the same position or higher up, who have seen things and will be allowed to talk publicly about them. This is why it was so important when David Grush came out and had that 7-hour interview on tape with Ross Coulthard, where he said, yes, we are in possession of the pilots. But that opens up another bunch of questioning. Number one, where are the bodies? Or number two, where are the live creatures? It's only one of two. There's no number three, not whatsoever. There's only two possibilities. Where are the bodies, or where are the pilots? Because you can't have both. You got one or the other. Well, that's not quite true. You can have both, but it's not going to be anything else. And Tim Burchett wants that door opened up. He wants to know where everything is. He believes humanity is ready to take that next step instead of being treated like kindergarten children where we're not allowed to talk aliens, amongst other things. And we're not allowed to question what the government is doing with this subject. This goes beyond top secret. And with people like Chuck Schumer now getting involved in this extremely bipartisan topic, the pressure is now going to mount on the secret services, the spy agencies, and the military itself to let it know what can be released and what wasn't. See, going back to Grush's speech, that had to be confirmed, and it had to be passed through security when he talked about the bodies and the pilots. To me, that's the most important part of his speech. The most important part of his interview that he gave when he spoke about those two specifics, crash retrievals and the pilots. We need to put that pressure on, and right now the one who can hold that pressure is Tim Burchett. Look, we know the government right now, or the military right now, is not going to come out and say, we have had contact with an extraterrestrial species, or we have traded something for an intact craft for us to study. We don't know the answers to that. We probably never will. But it's looking more and more that the tinfoil that we wear to come to all these conclusions might be shiny and new because that tinfoil is reflecting the truth. Sure, they can cheat, lie, and steal and cover up as much as they want. But in the end, we're finding out that everything we believed in the past is coming to fruition now. Look at Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's still standing on the soapbox that aliens are not here. We have a guy who worked in the program who said we got the pilots. How does this not make sense? What is making Neil deGrasse Tyson fall on deaf ears with all the information that has been provided? Well, we have no proof. Well, Neil, you probably got a couple of NDAs yourself. You might be able to ask around. Why don't you take that opportunity to use your position to find out that answer? It's easy not to believe this. But the reality is we're right around the corner from aliens. And if aliens come out, this goes beyond my soapbox that I stand on, preaching confirmation over disclosure. It's still not going to be a true disclosure, but it's going to be closer to disclosure nonetheless. It looks like the government, with the addition of Chuck Schumer and the power that he swings, okay, he's like your number 4 cleanup hitter on a baseball team. His power and authority that he can put into this, and his name alone can help move this whole entire story forward. The military is going to fight. Of course they will. They are going to fight for silence. They're going to fight for not having to talk about this publicly. Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, the head of the All-Domain Anomalies Research Organization, otherwise known as ARROW, he's going to be the one who's on the hot seat. But for the rest of them, they don't want to talk about it. They want it to go away. They want you to leave this subject alone. They want me to leave this subject alone. And they want everything to go back into normal, which is shoving this back into the deserts and the hidden bases until we are human enough to actually realize that the denial of this is unreal. And I believe if Tim Burchett gets his way, the Tennessean may be saying, holy cow, we got aliens. And that's a start. That is your Dave 101 for tonight. Thank you so much for tuning us in. And if you like it, share it around. You're allowed to do that. We allow that to happen. Just go to our YouTube channel and grab it. It'll be right there. It's time for the news.
What time is it?
It's time for Shirky Poo's news!
Well, before we bring in Shirky Poo, we got to say hello, hi, how are you to all the agents and agencies out there tuning us on in tonight. Give us a call sometime. We don't need to give you the number. No, you already have it. And remember, some of us can be bought. Just that easy. All right, let's get to some stories here. A Maine woman had to have her wrist stitched up after protecting her dogs from a bear. Yep, Lynn Kelly was working on her garden in Portland when her beloved dog headed off into the woods. The dog soon furiously ran back into the yard with a black bear giving chase. Yeah, Kelly stood up to make herself appear large. She even went roar, roar, which apparently didn't work. She confronted the wild animal instead of bolting, something that, professionals like Mark Latte from the Maine Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife doesn't recommend. Well, apparently her and the bear started scrapping it out. They went nose to nose until she swatted the bear in the nose, prompting the animal to bite her on the wrist and latch on. She eventually got let loose, but she had to go for stitches for the wound and in the hospital, but was later released. Lottie says the bear bites are rare in Maine, even though the state has one of the largest black bear populations on the eastern seaboard. Okay. This is for one of you turnips out there who just doesn't really understand that it's time to grow up sometimes. Illegally dumping stuff from your vehicle is considered gross. Dumping adult diapers and urine pads has become grosser. Yeah, cops from the Greenwich Township Police Department in New Jersey are searching for someone who allegedly is throwing bags of adult diapers and urine pads out the window of their vehicle in Gibbstown and surrounding areas. Now, this person may have a bladder problem, or they may be just a little too woke for the time. But authorities have released a photo of the suspect vehicle, and surprise, surprise, I'm surprised. No, it's not a Toyota Prius. It's a gray Nissan Altima. Yeah, in a Facebook post, cops have asked the suspect to stop throwing their duty out the window or in the face of other people, or they will face strict fines. We don't know who you are. We don't know what you want, but what we do have is a very particular set of skills we have acquired over the very long career, skills that make us a nightmare for people like you, the Post read. If you stop now, that will be the end of it. We will not look for you. We will not pursue you, but if you don't, We will look for you. We will find you. And we will fine you. Why act so tough on this, police? I mean, why not if you're going to act tough like Liam Neeson in this, at least throw in a little bit of humor on that. More like, we will bury you in your own diaper filth. That's what I would have done. Well, let's move on. Imagine being busted with a dinosaur in your home. Police in Sioux Falls, South Dakota recently went on the hunt for a Velociraptor statue that was stolen from the Washington Pavilion and Arts and Science Center in the city. A security officer reported seeing 3 people carry the statue out. With the help of a surveillance video, they were able to track the stolen dinosaur to a nearby apartment. When opening the door, detectives could clearly see the Velociraptor sitting inside and just hanging out. 3 suspects, all juveniles, 19-year-old and 2 18-year-olds, were charged with grand theft. The statue was not damaged in it. The Velociraptor statue is a part of Dinosaurs in the Wild expedition, currently being held at the Washington Pavilion. All right, I think we got time for one more. Following the link to, okay, where are we here? Yeah, there's 4 people dead after attempting the next TikTok boat challenge. Yeah, don't do these things. I mean, if you want a rite of passage to stupid, follow these TikTok trends. I don't think TikTok is the demon Olivia, then a high school junior who suffered a concussion from a skull breaker challenge. No. But either way, it needs to be changed. Yeah, while the TikTok did put a warning on the boat challenge videos, social media platforms stated that it's not accurate to characterize or report this as a challenge. Yeah, TikTok added that 4 people are dead because of this stupid boat challenge. Yeah, here's some other ones just to wrap things up here that people have had. The milk crate challenge, the blackout challenge, the cha-cha slide challenge, the face wax challenge, the don't rush challenge, lip sync challenge, and the silhouette challenge. How about no challenges and just get off TikTok completely? We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot THAL rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight. YouTube, Twitch, LGAB, Facebook, Spreaker, LinkedIn, the Space Travelers Club, and on Twitter at hashtag Spaced Out Radio.
I know you're out there somewhere.
Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends,
We're watching.
we own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo train has docked for the night. But soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we got room for them too. Good night. Ross Dogs, how you doing? Are you still tuned in? Or did you just drop by to say hello and then take off again? Let's see here. Let's refresh this, close this out, and get one of these things going. These could come off. This could come off. Oh, he must have did a quick one hit. Thank you, Deb. Thank you. Tomorrow night on the show, Marie Cisneros. What are we talking? Paradigms in history, spirituality, and consciousness, and little paranormal sprinkled in between. It'll be fun, I tell you. You will have fun, I tell you. I want to see on Twitter here. Four deaths in Alabama due to this thing. What is this thing all about here? Hold on. Boat jumping challenge there. In simple terms, involves participants impulsively leaping from the stern of the boat as it cruises at high velocity. Oh, yeah, that's smart. Because, water becomes like concrete the faster you go. This is where we allowed. Maybe TikTok should change its name to Darwin instead. Darwin Talk. Because there's sure some Darwinian awards through all of this. Fart hard, Paramarv. What am I doing here? All right, let's just go undo here. It's not that hard. Stop. Right there. All right, so we need number 3. So let's go like this. Copy. How many screens do you have? I have 4 screens. So this one I'm pointing at, one up there that I'm pointing at, this one right here that says Spaced Out Radio, and then there's one right here. Nope, that ain't it. So that's the end of it. So undo. What number am I looking on here? Hold on. I gotta get refocused. 3. No. One. Okay. So that's gonna be 4. So that's gonna be 3 right here. Sorry, guys. Got all confused there on my audio for a second. Undo again. Fine. Copy. Oh, that's cool, Paramarv. Thank you. I'll get Justin to work on those. Really? Really? Why am I having so much trouble with this tonight? That's number 2. That's number 2. There's the end of it. Exactly. So get rid of this bullshit. Okay. So this is number 3. Has to be. Is that it? I wonder if I accidentally cut it. I had to have cut it. Hold on a second here. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. We pass the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. There's a section missing. What the hell happened here? Hold on a second here. Undo. There's a total section missing. Don't save. Bring this back in. How the hell did that happen? It's like 1/2 hour of my editing out the window. No wonder I was confused. There we go. That looks better. Now we're back on track. All right. I will be right back in a few minutes. Who would love an SOR shirt? Oh, there is a little hoodie of a Wendigo on there for kids that I have on there. Check that out. All right. Excuse me. Okay, why are you not transferring? Come on. Why are you not transferring? This is not good. This is not good. Enter a verification code. Why the hell do I need to verify? What the hell is going on here? Okay, I gotta go figure this stuff out, guys. Marie Cisneros, our guest tomorrow night. History, spirituality, consciousness, paranormal stuff tomorrow night on the show. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you tonight to Sandra, Lala, Kira, Deb times 3, SOS, QHT, Vaughn, W. Decker, and Carlito for the amazing super chats. I apologize for cutting this off short. I got to figure this shit out. This is not doing well for me here. So we will chat with you all tomorrow.
healthy, my friend.
You too.
If you need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.